60. You can head over to YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That is live as of right now. We'd love to see you in the chat. Of course, you can listen to us on the free iHeartRadio app, which is always the best way to listen to this show, especially if you add us to your presets by hitting that little plus icon. Text line is open, 70470. Start your message with team if you want to react to anything from this Padres weekend or look forward to the NFL draft. We'll read your text all show long. With all that being said, Sammy, you ready to have a great show?
Yes, we have a lot to get to today.
A lot to get forward to, a lot to look back on. Sammy and I were hanging out on Saturday night in a suite, living the sweet life at SD Fight Night. That was a ton of fun, man. Juju Ballo getting a win. Johnny Mansour getting an emotional win, man. That entire place went silent for about 10 minutes before his fight as the big screens got lit up at Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside with a beautiful tribute he had to his mom, who was a San Diego resident who passed away recently. And then he goes out there and gets the win. It was a very, very cool night up at Front Wave Arena in Oceanside for all of our listeners who went. Hope you had a great time. I know we had a great time. Awesome view, and that place is really cool, man. Had you been to Front Wave before?
I've been for the Clipper G League game, but it was fantastic, man. It was cool seeing all the fight fans at SD really showing out, and it was a great card. The whole up and down the card was a lot of fun, and yeah, seeing Mansour and Juju get the win was big. It was cool watching a fight night in San Diego, and people really showed up for it, so it was great.
A lot of the fighters were from San Diego or Oceanside or East County. It was really, really cool to see how much local talent we had here. And of course, Southern California and Mexico is just a hotbed for boxing talent, and it always has been and always will be. But it was cool to see a lot of that on display. We saw some great knockouts. We saw some excellent tactical work from Johnny Mansour. A very, very fun night out at SD Fight Night up in Oceanside. All right, but these Padres, man, they take 2 of 3 against the Angels. A lot of it was status quo for what the Padres have been. Get the game to the 8th inning and let Mason Miller take over in the 9th. Outside of Friday, which was a rough watch, if anyone was watching. Matt Waldron, who is coming up kind of to replace Nick Pavetta's spot in the starting rotation. He's a knuckleballer. The knuck wasn't knucking. It was batting practice for the Angels on Friday. And that will happen with knuckleballers. But if it happens again to Matt Waldron, you have to start asking some serious questions about whether or not he should even be in the starting rotation and start to look elsewhere for pieces. But the rest of the weekend, man, you look at it, Tatis is getting RBIs. Xander Bogaerts is continuing to stay hot. Jackson Merrill as an outfielder, a Gold Glove. Let's put it on right now. And as a hitter too, the Padres played very, very well for games 2 and 3 of that series. But Mason Miller is the star of the show. The dude is basically untouchable right now, as good as it gets to be a closer or any pitcher in Major League Baseball. The combination between the high fastball and the slider that disappears off the face of the earth is brutal for players. You saw some of the Angels hitters trying to catch up to the fastball and trying to adjust to the slider, and they were missing by 2 or 3 feet. And that's dominance. That's when you're in your bag. The Padres right now are playing eight inning baseball games, which is very cool. I liken it to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, who you're playing to get to 3rd and 1 every single possession, right? And the Eagles have a little cheat code in their pocket, the tush push, to be able to pick up everything. And it becomes a 4-down football game as long as it's within 2 yards. For the Padres right now, it's an 8-inning baseball game. You have the lead in the 8th, you're going to win the game because Mason Miller's there. Ramon Laureano went and jumped on a podcast and he was talking about it. And he said for the first time in his career, he feels like he can relax on the defensive side of the baseball when Mason Miller is pitching, which probably isn't a great strategy. I would continue to get into that athletic stance, but it is kind of how Padre fans should feel right now too. I know it's how I feel. Get the game to the 9th. If you have a lead, Mason Miller's going to finish it, and it's only going to take about 3 batters.
He's unbelievable. And I kind of laughed when people started talking about the whole Cy Young conversation. Like,
oh, it's real.
I thought like a weekend, I'm like, okay, everyone needs to chill out. Like this is a closer, but
it's funny. You're talking about my retirement fund right now, Sammy.
You got money on that?
Oh yeah. I had money on that early.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's unbelievable, and it's cool watching there be a true superstar out of the pen for the Padres. And Mason Miller has just transcended. Like, we've seen guys and teams have really good closers in recent years, but Mason Miller is kind of that guy that people tune in who aren't Padre fans to watch in the 9th inning. He's that electric. And the way you said it, it is an 8-inning game for the Padres. I mean, when you feel like when you hand Miller the ball, basically the game's over. I mean, I'm watching that game yesterday. It was 2-1. Angels in their home ballpark have been playing decent baseball, and you kind of knew it was done. It was like they're not winning this game, and it wasn't even close. But It's a credit, I think, also recently to the depth. I'm surprised how much depth this Padres team has. I didn't think that they would be this deep heading into the season. I mean, Laureano's been unbelievable. It's cool seeing Jackson Merrill get a real full season. So, well, knock on wood, at least healthy to this point during the regular season, because last year his, kind of second year got derailed because of all the injuries he suffered. And just other guys are really contributing. And Fernando's not getting those home runs yet, but he has been getting some RBIs. It is kind of lead to a broader question, because there's like two ways to look at it. Like, one way to look at it is it's super cool that they're winning games, and it's a testament to the amount of depth they have, that they're finding ways to win games when Fernando and Manny aren't playing that great of baseball. And there's also the other way to look at it, that how concerned are you, because how sustainable is it to rely on 2-1 victories, to rely on the guys up and down the order, because Machado and Tatis aren't getting it done. Like, I go back and forth, because I guess if you're pinning it on that these guys get it together, you'd much rather have it be that than Machado and Tatis being great and no help from anywhere else in the lineup. So, like, I assume Machado and Tatis can get it together, but it is a little puzzling, like, that we're this far into the season, and it just feels like those two, we have the biggest question marks about the two biggest stars of the team. Everywhere else, you feel pretty good about where the Padres are at.
So they haven't lost a series since the opening 2 series, where they lost both of them to the Pirates and then to the Giants. They've won the series against the Red Sox, won the series against the Pirates, swept the Rockies, swept the Seattle Mariners, won 2 out of 3 against the Angels. And I think they're at 14-3 over their last 17 games. I think that's right. But if they're 14-3, we talk about that stretch all the time from the beginning of last year, where after that 14-3 stretch that they started the season on, they were a basic average Major League Baseball team, but that 14-3 stretch was enough to get them into the postseason. You feel like they just built themselves up a really nice cushion. Now, it would be great if the rest of the season didn't go how the rest of last year went, right? But for the Padres right now, they are doing it without Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting home runs, without Manny Machado hitting anything. The dude's like a 180 hitter. This is Austin Hedges numbers. Like, this is not good from what we've seen out of Manny Machado. So there's two ways to look at it. Way one is Sammy just kind of laid it out pretty nicely. Like, this isn't sustainable if Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado aren't hitting. Way two to look at it, you're looking at one of the better hopes for April 20th at this point of the season moving forward than the Padres have had in recent memory. Because what if Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado can turn it on? What if they can get going offensively, and then you pair that with what the rest of the team has already been doing? I think that there's a lot of reasons to be very, very excited about this Padres team. There's reasons to be nervous. Absolutely.
In the last couple of years, it's been the opposite than what we're feeling right now. It was production from the stars and not really anywhere else.
Yeah, well, last year, Manny and Fernando started red hot.
They were unbelievable. Now, it changed at the end of the year when he got to the Club Series, and those two went 2 for 22. But it is funny how, again, AJ Preller, everything he's done hasn't always been perfect, but AJ Preller deserves a lot of credit for putting a lineup on the field that if you would have read off the jump that we're a month into the season, Tatis doesn't have a home run and Machado is a 180 hitter so far, you'd be like, oh, I mean,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, the fact that they've gotten 15 wins already with those two guys having the starts of the year that they've had, unbelievable. Now, good news, get right time, because you're going to 2 ballparks in a row that are hit the ball in the air and it might go out of the ballpark, right? They're going to Denver to take on the Colorado Rockies, and then they're playing in Mexico City. Those two places, this should be home run central. If Fernando doesn't get a homer here, I don't know what we do. We probably raise some flags and call the fire department. I don't know. But let's get to the big three. On the other side of the big three, a juicy new development in the Padres ownership. I don't know how many people have seen this, but something juicy coming up at 12:15. You don't want to go anywhere. Sammy, go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, we got a bunch of texts rolling in. This is very fun. We'll get to them on the other side. Sammy, where would you like to start?
All right, let's go to the NFL. It's draft week, baby.
Oh, we're here.
It is draft week.
Thursday, man. Let's go.
In the NFL. Very excited. And so things are kind of flying around. Teams trying to get as many assets as possible for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But over the weekend, Dexter Lawrence, long rumored, kind of beefing with the Giants. Giants wanted him out. Didn't want to pay him all that money as a star defensive tackle. Being traded to the Cincinnati Bengals for the 10th overall pick. So top 10 pick. Going back to the Giants. The Giants now have picks 6 and number 10, adding to the list of teams that have multiple picks in the first round. Who won the trade? The Bengals getting Lawrence or the Giants getting 10th overall pick?
Is that even a question? It's the Giants. The Giants now have 2 top 10 picks in this year's draft. The New York Giants already have one of the most exciting young offenses in all of football. The New York Giants are now able to fix their defense. Like, Sexy Dexy was really good for the Giants. I wouldn't say he was great. Definitely not last year. He really struggled.
He's not a generational player.
No, and he's got a cool name. Hell, that highlight will play forever in NFL history of him getting the interception and running down the field and getting tackled at the 1 yard line because it's big man rolling downhill. It's great. Sexy Dexy is a really, really good piece. I don't know how much better he makes the Bengals defense. I can tell you that the New York Giants, if they draft properly, are setting themselves up to be a playoff team within the next 2 years.
That division is going to be really fun because you have the Giants sitting at 6-10, you have Washington at 7, and then you have the Cowboys will be over 12 and number 20. So you have teams with a lot of ammo in the top of the draft. And we all know the Cowboys are looking for defensive talent. I'm with you. I think the Giants won this trade. I'm not bashing Cincy for it because he is a good player and they badly need a defensive tackle. It's not a very good defensive tackle draft, but it does feel like the Bengals are so desperate to be competent on defense. They signed Brian Cook from the Chiefs. They signed Boy Mafe from the Seattle Seahawks. Jonathan Allen coming over, former Washington defensive tackle. Now you get Lawrence. Their defense will be better, but I thought with T. Higgins and Burrow and Chase and all the expensive contracts they have on the offensive side, the whole point of this thing was to get younger on defense and have an influx of young talent. And yet they paid top dollar for Brian Cook and Boy Mafe, and they're going to pay top dollar for Dexter Lawrence. That does not feel like the way to do this.
Don't you think the Bengals could use a linebacker?
Right, or a young superstar defender, Caleb Downs.
Probably could have gotten that at 10. It is crazy to me that they gave up.
Like the Seattle Seahawks were bottom 10 in spending on defense, and they just won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So I don't know if the Bengals know what they're doing.
Since he's crazy, man. What's next?
All right, Lake Show. Get a W on Saturday night.
How about it?
Take down the Houston Rockets. Luke Kennard, 27 points. LeBron, 13 assists. Lakers show out. No Kevin Durant, obviously, but no Luka and Reeves. Is this sustainable with game 2 tomorrow night?
No. I hate to burst the bubble, Sammy, but I don't think it is. Look, I do think that there's a chance the Rockets looked at this series as a hope that the Lakers would kind of give up after a beatdown in game 1. Now, KD wasn't playing, and I think KD wasn't playing for a reason. What they said, it was a knee contusion, right? I think
he suffered it in practice last week.
Okay, KD was strategic sit out so that they could
he
win.
Was hurt.
Sure, but I think he probably could have played. But strategic sit out so they could win game 1. Hopefully the Lakers roll over and die because of all of their health issues, and the Rockets could win this series without having Kevin Durant. In this game, the Rockets out-rebounded the Lakers by 1 million. In this game, the Rockets had 1 million more shots than the Lakers had. And in this game, the Lakers were hot. Like, how many more times are you going to get this out of Luke Kennard? That's probably the question. So I don't think it's sustainable. But if the Lakers can stretch this series and maybe get one of the two back, Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic, maybe they have a shot at this. But it would be about just stretching the series out as long as possible.
I think it's sustainable completely, and I think it's going the other way. I mean, if you read off these stats, the Houston Rockets took 93 shots. The Lakers took 66. They had 21 offensive rebounds, Houston, compared to the Lakers 3. They had 44 rebounds overall compared to the Lakers 35. If you would have told anyone before the game that the Lakers would have those numbers going against them, you go, they get blown out. They get blown out by 20. And yet they still won by almost double digits or 9 points. I mean, it goes to show how flawed Houston is. They do not have a point guard. And I just got to give JJ Redick some props because we bashed him last year for the playoffs. He had a horrible mismanagement playing in that game 3 against Minnesota. The starters the entire half. You can't do that in the NBA. And he comes out. These guys were ready to play. You could tell they believed, even though they didn't have all their talent on the floor. And they really buckled down defensively and held Houston under 100 points. I think it is sustainable. I think the series is going to be going 6 or 7. And if the Lakers can just delay it as much as possible, they're going to have to keep getting performances from Luke Kennard. Rui's going to have to be more aggressive. And Ayton. Those are the 3 players because we know LeBron's going to show up. Those other 3 have to ball out.
Can you get more than one good game out of DeAndre Ayton in a row?
That's the big question. Kennard, yes. Ayton, we'll see tomorrow night.
We'll see tomorrow night. All right, and we'll have that game tomorrow night. So listen here on San Diego Sports 760. Hey, Big 3, number 3 was going to be about the Padres' new owner. Apparently, there is some beef with that team up north. If you haven't heard about it, we'll tell you about it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate.
The overturned crash completely clear from the North 15 connector to East and West 8. The signal has ended. You're back up to speed. East County, right lane is closed on the East 8 Pine Valley Bridge. There is some police activity taking place there.
Now here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, coin. That's coin. Enter it now.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Going long with Sammy.
This was the Lakers' problem for a lot of the year, and then they figured out how to play in March, and unfortunately with the Lakers, Luka's out, Reeves is out. The big three wasn't working for a long time because it felt like it was LeBron's turn. And then it was Reeves' turn.
Weekdays at 2.
And then it was Luka's turn, and they weren't running an offense. And then when they started playing together and LeBron taking a back seat, playing off ball, they started having success.
San Diego Sports 760. America's finest sports station.
When San Diego takes the field, the Padres lead with power, grit, and heart. And off the field, Singleton Schreiber brings that same fight to injured San Diego. As the official personal injury law firm of the San Diego Padres, Singleton Schreiber is proud to represent our hometown. We live here, we work here, and when you're injured, we go to bat for you. Whether it's a car crash, a worksite injury, or serious harm caused by someone else's negligence, Singleton Schreiber is the hometown team that knows how to win. We don't just talk tough, we deliver. If you've been hurt, don't wait. Call 877-600-6000 today. That's 877-600-6000. The call is free, so is the consultation. Singleton Schreiber, San Diego's own, the official injury law firm of the Padres. When you need someone in your corner, call 877-600-6000.
Brett Schreiber is responsible for this ad. 591 Camino de la Reina, San Diego, California.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code FUTURE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FUTURE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's FUTURE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Got something to say?
Love you.
Well, just tap the red talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app.
Let's go.
Requests, contests, or just to say hi.
Hey, this is Heather.
Get your voice on the air fast.
I got the windows rolled down, the moonroof open.
Open the iHeartRadio app and try it now.
San Diego Sports 760. An iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
Hey, you want $1,000? If you do, you're listening to the right place, because San Diego Sports 760, we got 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the Bonus Bucks contest. Listen every hour from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up soon, right here on San Diego Sports 760. $1,000 would be nice right about now.
Going to Vegas with that.
Like 5 tanks of gas with the $1,000.
Yeah.
Here in 2026.
Get a nice little fill up. One fill up.
Yeah. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. We are going to get to the NFL draft coming up in about 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. But I did want to bring this to everyone's attention. So this is all social media warriors doing some digging and finding out some stuff. People who know the Premier League in soccer have put all this together much more than I have. I'd love to take credit for this, but I did not do the deep dive. But what has come out of it is the fact that Jose E. Feliciano, who along with his wife Kwanzaa Jones have reportedly purchased the Padres for $3.9 billion. There is some freestanding beef between Jose E. Feliciano and one of the Dodgers owners, Todd Bailey. So they're both part owners of Chelsea FC. Apparently, during their times in the Chelsea FC offices, they have butted heads the entire time. They don't agree on some personnel decisions. They don't agree on how the team should be run at times. And now this beef could be making its way to Major League Baseball. And I would say if there's freestanding beef between some Dodgers owners and some Padres owners, the only people that benefits are the fans of both of those teams, because this rivalry has already been playing out on the field. It can only get better if the people at the top of the food chain hate each other.
Right. And if it's real, I mean,
this is all allegedly for legal purposes.
If you are taking it, like, it kind of goes back to the John Seiler point. So John Seiler got a lot of flack for wanting to sell the team. And when he was owner of the Padres after the late great Peter Seiler passed, we never saw John. John spoke like 3 times and 2 times, and one of those was a letter. I mean, he never really was putting up the public appearances. And I give John Seiler a lot of credit for going, like, to be fair to John Seiler, he didn't ask to be the owner of the Padres. He didn't ask to be the day-to-day guy of the Padres. And if he didn't want to do that and didn't see a vision for the team, or he didn't want to be the guy leading that vision, then credit to him for kind of moving off of it. And if you sell it to a guy in Feliciano who, like, let's just say this is true, hates the Dodgers, wants to kind of play into that rivalry that, Dodgers fans hate Padres fans hate Dodger fans, that's great. And if you're looking glass half full, you're saying this, then maybe he's going to spend like it, because to beat the Dodgers, you got to spend like it. If they're, signing Kyle Tucker, the best hitter on the market, and they're signing Edwin Diaz, the best closer on the market, to compete with them, to realistically compete with them, not just hope that one series that you're going to catch them and they get injured, you were going to have to spend like them. And that's the big hope going forward with Feliciano and his wife, is that they have a vision for this team. And the fact that they're involved in Chelsea, they're involved in a Premier League team over there, in Premier League being the NFL of England. I mean, you got to think that he has some interest in building a winner, because if you're going to own a Premier League team, I'm not going to act like I'm some Premier League soccer expert, but if you're going to own a team over there, especially one as esteemed as Chelsea, and allegedly they've spent over like $1 billion in trying to acquire players, I mean, you got to think that you have the vision to put a winner on the field, whatever sport it is.
So this beef apparently goes back to Mauricio Pochettino, right? That's how you say his name?
That's the American head coach.
Exactly,
he used
right.
to coach Chelsea, I believe.
Used to coach Chelsea. So Feliciano wasn't happy with what Pochettino was doing and wanted him out. Bailey, who is a Dodgers minority co-owner, wanted to have patience and relax and keep him around for a little bit longer. That's where the beef started. The beef has continued, at least according to social media, and we will see if it spills over onto the Major League Baseball diamond. And I certainly hope it does.
And soccer's weird because you have, it's not like open, so different than how we run our free agencies in any sports league here in America, because you have loans and you're paying a team millions of dollars to pay out their contract, plus then the contract that you're going to give the player that you're acquiring. So like Chelsea spent a lot of money. I know they had Pulisic for a minute in Pochettino. Sure. Like they made
big moves under this current administration with Chelsea. That's about as far as I know.
And by the way,
they're not afraid to spend money, which is great news for Padres fans.
The Walters Group, if I'm not mistaken, has been a part of Chelsea, and like Bailey has been a part of Chelsea. We all know the Dodgers ownership group spends money. They are not scared to write a checkbook. So if Feliciano knows anything, he's looking at that and realizing what they've been able to do with the Dodgers. And if you're going to get into that market where you're directly competing with the Dodgers, not only in Major League Baseball, but in the same division and geographically, I mean, you got to think you got to have some funding behind this to want to go spend money.
Now, there's a much bigger story surrounding all of this. I'm actually working on getting a guy who just wrote a really great article on the impact this has on the upcoming labor dispute between CBA, or the Collective Players Association, and the MLB owners, and how this actually is going to help out the players' case come ownership meetings and everything, because of the quote-unquote overspend that Jose E. Feliciano did with the San Diego Padres. So that is for another day, and it's a much more complicated
conversation. Are they trying to say
that there's never going to be a salary cap because of how much someone was willing to spend on a quote media market team?
So if they're gonna say if they're willing to spend $3.9 billion and quote overpay for the Padres,
owners aren't allowed to call poverty anymore, and that's what this whole thing is. And so if this is the case, like this could have long-standing effects. This may in fact be worse for the dispute that's coming up between the players and the owners.
If that turn, I know we're gonna break, but if that happens, that's fine. If that happens, what I don't want to hear from players is about, well, it's unfair because the Dodgers, Mets, and Yankees spend money. Like if you're gonna, you can't have it both ways. If you want it to be competitive and you want it to be where every team has a shot, then you need to make sure there's a salary cap. If you don't want that, that's your prerogative. You're making millions more dollars. Maybe you don't care, but then you don't get to turn around and go, we can't beat this team because we don't have enough talent, when it's like, if you had a salary cap, it would be much more level.
I guess my final thoughts on this is if Jose Feliciano actually maybe spent a little more than everybody else and won the bidding war for the Padres because he wants to stick it to the Dodgers and this Todd Bailey guy in some aspect, this is great news for Padres fans. I think the news that has come out over the weekend should have you more excited about Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones coming in to own the Padres, because it does sound like there's a personal aspect to it, which is all you want out of owners. You want it to be a little bit personal. You don't just want it to be a business transaction. So we'll see. We, again, won't know anything for a while with the Padres' new owners, but I think that this little nugget is exciting for me and for everyone who roots for the Padres. All right, quick break here. NFL draft on the other side. It's draft week, baby. Let's get it going. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you need some help paying off your bills? I think that sums it up. Need help dealing with our crazy gas prices? San Diego Sports 760 has your chance for you to grab a cool $1,000.
May I have everyone's attention, please?
Listen each hour from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. from the nationwide keyword. Once you hear it, enter it at sportssd.com for your chance to grab $1,000.
Moolah, dough, the old green stuff.
In the bonus box contest on San Diego Sports 760.
When your business is growing, the last thing you need is another worry. That's why ESET, a global leader in cybersecurity, headquartered right here in San Diego, keeps you safe and sound. For nearly 40 years, ESET has protected companies with award-winning AI-driven cybersecurity that just works. So sleep easier, focus on growth, not threats. Because with ESET, your digital world stays safe and your business stays sound. Learn more at ESET.com.
Hey, it's Fletch, and I have got the perfect plan for you and the whole family this week. The Lakeside Rodeo is back this Thursday through Sunday. If you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank, but still feels like a full-on event, this is it. My wife and I have been going for years. We volunteer out there. We attend out there, and it's one of the best atmospheres you will find in San Diego. 4 days of action, bull riding, steer wrestling, rodeo queens, and, of course, a bunch of activities for the kiddos to stay engaged. All of it's awesome. You got to get out there. It's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo. It's built for families. It's fun. It's affordable. And it's something that everyone's going to enjoy. Not one of those events where you're ready to leave after just 20 minutes. Plus, it supports the El Capitan Stadium Association, which is a nonprofit here in San Diego that gives back to local youth in Lakeside. So make a plan, bring the crew, and come check it out this Thursday through Sunday. You can get tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com. That's lakesiderodeo.com. I will see you there. Fun, affordable, great for the family. Get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo going on this Thursday through Sunday at the Lakeside Rodeo grounds.
At Valley View Casino and Hotel, we're making it rain all month long at our 3 C's giveaway by showering you with cash, and more cash. Earn entries all month. Then join us Friday, April 24th, where you could win $35,000 or spin for up to $100,000. Plus, 70 guests will win an additional $30,000 in prizes. So turn a downpour of fun into a stream of cash when you join our 3 C's giveaway. Only at Valley View, San Diego's favorite casino.
When a group of women discover they've all dated the same prolific con artist, they take matters into their own hands.
I vowed I will be his last target.
He is not going to get away with this. He's going to get what he deserves.
We always say that. Trust your girlfriends. Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow the Girlfriends Trust Me Babe and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Life's better when your home just works. Upgrade your heating and cooling and save up to $2,500 before the 15th or up to $2,000 by month's end. Schedule online at AndersonPHA.com.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
San Diego sports now.
We're sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment. San Diego State, Tay Simmons, LZ Harrington returning to the Mesa to stay with the Aztecs after hitting the transfer portal. They'll be back with San Diego State for next season. The NBA tonight, we got a triple header. Raptors, Cavs, game 2. Cavs looking to take a 2-0 series lead. That game's at 4 o'clock. Hawks in the Garden taking on the Knicks. Knicks looking to take a 2-0 series lead. Knicks are 6.5-point favorites, and the Timberwolves will be looking to even the series against the Denver Nuggets at 7:30 tonight, despite having a lead late but blowing it in game 1. It's Car Care Month, and Summit Racing has what you need for bumper-to-bumper care. Revive the interior, exterior, underhood, and more. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends May 3rd, 2026.
Well, Sammy just told you in the update, that is awesome news for the San Diego State Aztecs. LZ Harrington, Tay Simmons, both who had really, really nice freshman seasons for the Aztecs basketball team, are confirmed back as of today on social media over the last hour. Both those have come down, as well as Stockbor Majak, who you saw get into a couple of games this year. All three of them returning to the Mesa to add in to what's already happening in the transfer portal. And obviously a lot of work to do, but that is two pieces you can absolutely grow around. When LZ Harrington was healthy this year, he was an elite level scorer, man. And Tay Simmons, I said it all year long, he's the most Aztec-like Aztec we've seen in quite some time, definitely on this year's team. So very, very good news for the San Diego State Aztecs. If you're looking for excitement today about the Aztecs basketball team, you just got it. LZ back, Tay Simmons back, Stockbor Majak back for San Diego State. We'll see what else they can do in the transfer portal.
That's a huge get back for them. They were, honestly, not just saying this because the other guys are gone, they were consistently the two best players when they were playing for most of the season last year.
Tay Simmons had one of the best plus minuses on the team for the entire season.
I mean, they had that ability to look. I get why they weren't always playing because they were true freshmen and made a lot of mistakes, but in terms of just talent jumping off the page, those are two of the most talented guys on the team. And you're starting to see the Bear Cherry, some of these guys transferring, the transfer from Rice and Latrell Davis. Like the Aztecs got a pretty good little group here, and there's still a lot of work to do. Got to keep some guys and get some guys back, but
need some muscle, some big.
Yeah, you need some bigs. It's also fun though, like, and this is like Miles Bird, great Aztec. It was fun watching Magoon play, Reese Dixon Waters, and BJ Davis. But it's kind of fun seeing a little bit of a new lifeblood of a team. This is going to be like that first team in years that feels very different than last year's team.
Sure.
Where last year kind of felt like a little bit of a continuation from the year before, just with some tweaks. So yeah, should be fun for the Aztecs this year.
I'm sure Dutch and Velasquez and the whole squad would feel very, very comfortable if Tay Simmons was already the leader of this team next year. He just has that type of personality, that type of persona. The way he plays is an excellent lead by example guy. But if I was making my wish list right now and I had a whiteboard in the Aztecs locker room, I'm looking for 6'9", 225. Like we hit big and strong, not
and
just
multiple
big and skinny.
bigs too, because Magoon was supposed to be a big, but the problem is they only had one big that you could count on offensively. Right. So, and then when he was fouled in foul trouble and hurt, the Aztecs really suffered. So yeah, you need some front court depth.
And like not just tall, big, but big. You need some muscle back there. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. This is a big week. Sammy's been losing his mind. He's been losing sleep. He's so excited. The Chiefs have 2 first-round picks this year. The New York Giants have 2 top 10 picks in this year's draft. We are in for a very exciting draft day. And we got the news last week. I believe it was the Chiefs GM who said expect a lot of trades around the NFL draft this year. It's already happening. The Cincinnati Bengals just traded their first-round pick to the Giants for sexy Dexy Lawrence. We have news this morning that A.J. Brown could be on the move, but not until June. Kind of confusing there. Probably deserves a bigger conversation than we'll get it today. But you look at the NFL draft this year, and with the amount of teams that have multiple first-round picks, I feel like the movement is just getting started, especially with no huge no-brainer top-of-the-line draft outside of Fernando Mendoza and Jeremiah Love. Outside of that, it feels like there could be a ton of fluidity in this year's draft. It's a great outside linebacker class. It's a great defensive edge class. It's a really good wide receiver class. Other than that, like offensive line, kind of shallow. Interior defensive line, kind of shallow. We'll see what goes on, but it feels like this is a draft where you could see a lot of movement with people trying to get back in the draft with more picks.
Well, I think we see a change in. I mean, for years, it was just quarterbacks, like teams trying to get up to get quarterbacks, big time receivers, and we're seeing a change. Like look at the Seattle Seahawks who just won a Super Bowl.
Sure,
they had excellent defense, and Nicky Manwari. I mean, there's so many guys on that defensive staff that were young draft picks that just ended up balling out for Seattle. And Devon Witherspoon. I mean, like up and down that lineup were just collection of draft picks, of first and second round picks, and kind of down the middle rounds. This is a fun draft because it's a draft where we're seeing in the NFL, the trenches win you Super Bowls. The Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago won a Super Bowl, dominated on both sides of the ball, offensive, defensive line. When the Chiefs were winning Super Bowls, they were dominating on the offensive, defensive line. The Seahawks did it this year. And I think you see the teams that rely on skill, like the Bills and the Ravens and the Chargers, like a lot of these teams that are flashy and they sell a lot of tickets and they're fun to watch in September. When they get to January, they don't really have that same grit that a lot of these other teams do. So in a draft where it feels like, especially early, a really good tackle draft, and the defensive line is unbelievable. I mean, the DNs and linebackers, this is just stacked. A great couple safeties. I think in this first round, we could see 3 safeties go, which is pretty surprising, especially kind of devaluing that position recently. So it's kind of fun watching. Like the NFL goes in these kind of cyclical circles where no one wants a running back, right? 10 years ago, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, no one's getting paid. Then all of a sudden, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Now everyone wants a running back. And we see Kenneth Walker getting paid, Travis Etienne, Jeremiah Love's likely to be a top 5 pick. And then no one wanted a safety. Remember, it was after the Legion of Boom with Cam Chancellor. It was like, we're not paying safeties. And then now we're starting to see that come back in the NFL. So this top 10 is interesting. And a lot of these teams with multiple picks really do have the ability to dictate the first round and what happens later on.
Now, if you've been kind of watching mock drafts as they come out, there's been one guy who's just been rising exponentially every single time. In fact, I was looking at some final mock drafts today. Jordan Reed of ESPN had his final mock draft today. Chris Johnson is flying up these boards, man. The cornerback out of San Diego State, as the latest one I saw, had the Cowboys taking him at 20. It's looking like Chris Johnson may be a surefire first round pick for the NFL, which when you translate that back to what that means for San Diego State, it's huge, especially when a cornerback in a offensive friendly head coach with Sean Lewis, it is just showing you San Diego State's going to be a place where you can get drafted high in the first round. And that's great news. But Chris Johnson, yeah, I saw 20, I saw 22. I saw the Chiefs actually taking him in a mock draft.
We're linked to him a lot in the back end of the first.
So watch out. That's great news for Chris Johnson. But I do think that this is an opportunity. Like I look at the Los Angeles Rams picking at 13, and now Mekhi Lemon, or that's his name, right? Mekhi Lemon, the USC wide receiver, has been linked to them like from the start of this draft process. I think because it's in LA, because that's where he played his college ball. And
they need a slot receiver.
Yeah. Does anyone really look at the Rams and think, they're going to hold on to this pick? Like it's so opposite of what Les Snead generally does. You could easily see them dropping way back and picking up another Puka or trying to in the 4th or 5th round.
It is. You wonder who's coming because of the fact, like what are all the teams that have multiple first round picks? The Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Giants. Who am I missing? The Jets and the Cardinals. The Cardinals have multiple.
Cardinals have multiple. Yeah.
Okay, so those like you have teams. Those are 6 teams right there that have the ability to do serious damage up and down the board. And wherever Ty Simpson is going to play into this.
The last one I saw had him just outside of the first round, going to Arizona at 34.
Right. And then some people have him trading back in the 20. And then some people have him going the Jets, the Steelers, or the Cardinals biting on him early, way earlier than a lot of people would go in the top 10, maybe kind of that 11, 12, 13 range. So it does feel like one of these guys are going to drop. The receivers you mentioned, Mekhi Lemon at USC, Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, and Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State are all the kind of top 3 big ones.
And then it's the tight end from Oregon, Sadiq. Like, where does he end up going? Because it's such a heavy wide receiver linebacker class. Who's going to take the tight end first?
And the Sadiq point kind of ties back into what I was saying about we've seen like the evolutionary change. Like 20 years ago, we would not see a tight end go in the first round.
Right.
People would just devalue that position. They would go, now we've seen Kelsey and Kittle and just so many tight ends completely change teams and be like the foundational piece of the franchise.
Brock Bowers right now with Las Vegas.
Right. So now Sadiq, technically people are like, he's a weird prospect to look at.
He's not really a blocking tight end. He's a receiving tight end, which
right,
has become in vogue just over the last few years, but that only fits a very specific type of offense.
So I think like Sadiq, and then you get to the receivers and then Ty Simpson, there's some, and then even Jeremiah Love. Like these are all skill positions players. Who is going to reach for one of them? And are we what are the teams that are going to value the defensive line, the offensive line? And what are the teams that are like, we need to sell tickets. We want Jeremiah Love, or we want Mekhi Lemon. We want Carnell Tate. Like we want a star receiver. And it does feel like tight ends now. I mean, we've seen the last couple of years, Kyle Pitts 4 years ago would not have went where he went. It not built on the backs of Kittle and Kelsey and Bowers and all these players that have kind of become franchise tight ends. So Sadiq's an interesting prospect in the first round. I wonder, I think he goes much earlier than people are projecting him to.
And then you have the big fellas, the offensive line, which Moyoga out of Miami, Fano. There's a couple of really, really good offensive tackles, and you feel like there's teams like the Niners would fit into this category for me. They have an aging left tackle. Is this the year where in the first round you go after Trent Williams' replacement right after signing him to this new 2-year deal?
It does feel like in the 20s, because you had the from the tackle from Arizona State, Proctor from Alabama. It feels like the Bills and the Broncos told you a lot when they went out and got receivers in the offseason. It tells you a lot, I think, that they think Lemon, Tate, and Tyson are all going to be gone before they even reach the back end of the 20s. And I do think in that kind of 20s, because this is not a year where we have like dominant offensive linemen at the top. I do feel like the early 20s are going to be littered with tackles and offensive linemen.
The Arizona State guy you were mentioning, I'm forgiven. I've given up on saying his last name, but Max from Arizona State.
Max I. That's what we're going
he's
with.
A crazy prospect because he started playing football at like 17 years old. He only has a few years of experience, but he might have the best measurables in the entire draft. He has these crazy long arms and he's wildly athletic. So there's a bunch of teams who may reach on him early in the first round, like it's talking like 17 through 20, somewhere in there, drafting a guy who you don't even know if he's going to be able to adapt to the NFL play.
You also, in terms of traits, this is like, we see this so much in the NFL where it's been a long time now since we've seen these guys play actual college football. It's been months on end. So what we've seen in between is draft interviews, combine, pro days, where you're falling in love with guys who have great measurables, not necessarily that they had great play on the field. And when you're taking like great defenses in college football, like Texas Tech and Ohio State, that have a ton of players going in the first round, it's like you've seen the Arvell Reeses, the David Baileys, these guys that are like jump off the page on the combine at the gym, flying up draft boards. And to your point, like Arizona State's the rawest prospect in the draft, flying up draft boards because people go, oh, we want to mold him. And we forget about the guys who just balled out in college football and drop.
We're really good. An offensive lineman, more than any other position, they'll stay in college for 4 years. So you're talking about guys who've had a ton of reps. And this guy has like 3 years of starting reps at a position. It's kind of crazy. All right. So text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. Drop us your NFL team and who you want them to take in the draft. We'll play that throughout the rest of the show. We'll run with that a little bit. So give us your NFL team and who you want them to take in the draft and why. It's San Diego Sports 760. Did we win this weekend?
No.
Damn it.
The Raptors really. So I was feeling good about that pick.
I haven't even opened the app. I was really hoping I was rich.
The Warriors did not come through.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Warriors played terrible, and now all of a sudden Steve Kerr is retiring. Like that's a wild storyline that's going on right now.
They're negotiating an extension with Steph right now too.
All right, long shots with Sammy coming up next. See if we can get a winner to start this week off right. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Reduced Emissions, Improved Air Quality, and the Port of San Diego.
East 52 before Mission Gorge. Watch for a wheelchair in the slow lane. East 94 before the 125. There's a stalled semi. Partially right lane, partially right shoulder. I'm Mark Zegan, San Diego Traffic.
Zero Emission Tech, the Port of San Diego's maritime operations and partners. What do they all have in common? Improved air quality. Learn how they're all working together to improve the air quality for their region. For all the details, visit portofsandiego.org.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas.
It is 420. I was wondering when some Snoop would play. Only a matter of time. Hey, to anyone participating today?
Oh, that people are definitely participating right now.
Watch out. There's bugs in your skin right now.
Don't do that to all our people participating. They're trying to just chill, listen to sports talk radio.
Don't hide it, divide it.
Probably go watch a little NBA tonight. Just chill.
How many people on our text line are stoned off their ass right now? I want to know. 70470.
Shout out to all of you.
Start your message.
Hey, enjoy safely tonight.
You know what's crazy is 420 today used to be a day off here at iHeart San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Because our old boss her birthday was 420. And so we would every year there's a floating holiday that the whole office votes on. And she would basically go door to door saying, hey, floating holiday, 420. That's my birthday.
484 is calling you a narc.
What? Not a narc.
I'm just saying. That's what 484 is saying.
Not a narc,
Fletch is
dude.
a narc.
No, don't hide it, divide it, bro. I'm cool, man. What's up, fellow youths?
See, are you a good rotation guy?
Let's get stizzled.
I feel like
Bump some Wiz Khalifa, brah.
We've talked about this on the show before. See, are you a good rotation guy?
Probably not. It's been a while.
You don't
I've
think
been
so?
a part
Are
of any
you the guy
rotation.
that's you take too long and then everyone else is waiting for you to pass it?
Okay, it's been a long time since any of this was relevant, but when it was relevant, it was didn't take much. Sammy, didn't take much.
619 said 420 is no different than any other day. Haha, all day, every day, baby. Quacked on Padres.
Fletch looks like he really like. There, I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
The text line isn't updated for me.
Sorry, 484. I guess I'm a narc. All right, let's get to long shots. I'll narc on this. Let's make some money, and then
no idea what that means.
We'll have to narc to the IRS that we're making so much money because Sammy's picks all hit like crazy. I will say I did just do a future $10 on San Diego State to win the national championship. Pays out like $1,800. So if anyone's curious, that could be a little fun one to get on early.
Some futures?
Some futures. Love futures. I have a million futures in there right now. Niners are winning the Super Bowl and I'm retiring. That's basically the goal here. Sammy, go ahead. Smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Hey, that's me and his man.
With long shots.
Man, bring up weed one time and the text line explodes. 858 who dat 420 dab gang gang.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Bro, shout out to all our local dispos.
484. Fletch is a Bogarter. Does that have something to do with Xander?
Text line is very excited about today.
Enjoy your day, text line. You deserve it.
Yes, sir.
Go get lit, brah. Sammy, where are we going?
It's funny, though. The fact that we had a day off, usually for 420, radio is the one job that, like, especially if you're a DJ, you could be completely gone and be just fine.
What are you talking about?
Are
right
you
now?
kidding me? Like,
you think we could do this on Mars? I'm sorry, I couldn't. I don't know about you.
No. I don't know about sports talk radio. I'm talking about like music. Like, come on now.
858. Fletch the kind of guy to get high and then start talking about the cops in World War III.
That is an amazing text.
More like the Revolutionary War. Come on, let's get at it. Sammy, where are we going? I'm 30 now. All right, I have to start getting into history. That's the thing.
That's a beautiful text, 858. All right. Guess what? We're going to, we got some playoffs. We got some playoffs to get to for long shots. Let's go to the NHL. Stanley Cup playoffs been very fun.
Not the playoffs I thought you were going to. Okay.
We're going to get to NBA in a second. NHL playoffs been very fun. Stanley Cup is also fun because like the NBA in the first round, there's not a ton of upsets. You're seeing the cream of the crop really kind of rise. The NHL is different. You have a hot goalie and some players that are kind of balling out. Like you can really make your hay in the first round, even if you're a massive dog. Penguins, Flyers. So Flyers stole game one. They built an early 3-1 lead in that one, and then Brian Rust pulled the Pens within one late, but they were able to hold on. The Flyers, kind of the upstart team, historic franchise. They got Zegras there, but first time in the playoffs, they were amped up for that game. But give us Pittsburgh -155 on the money line tonight. Sid the Kid. They're going to get this thing done. They split on the season series so far this year, 2-2. The credit to the Flyers. They're young. They were hungry. But this Penguins team is filled with veterans who have been here before, won multiple Stanley Cups. They're going to even the series tonight. In the Battle of Pennsylvania, be going to Philly for Game 3, 1-1.
Not to put any pressure on you, but we probably need to go fast through the next few.
Okay, so you interrupting saying that doesn't
I know,
help.
But I just maybe not as much of an explanation on the next couple.
I got to give the people. I got to explain.
We just got to
people.
go. Explain on the other side.
Guys, ruining my thing.
That did waste like a minute. I'm sorry.
Hawks, Knicks. Okay, I like the over 217.5. The Hawks were they came out firing. They didn't make a lot of second half adjustments. They have the talent. The last game 1, 113-102 for the New York Knicks. Over 217.5 tonight. I think the guards, Jalen Johnson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Onyeka Okongwu is a game-time decision. They're going to be able to handle the second-half adjustments from Mike Brown, and Karl-Anthony Towns was causing some havoc down low. I like the over in this game. I think it's tight, but a lot more scoring in round 2. All right, Timberwolves, Nuggets. Give me the Timberwolves +7.5. The Timberwolves had game 1 in Denver. They outplayed them for a majority of that game. And credit to Denver. Denver knows how to close. Jokic and Murray went to that two-man game at the end. Jamal Murray coming in and them combining. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic combining for about 55 points. Ayo Dosunmu had 14 off the bench for the Timberwolves. The key in this game, Naz Reid was only 2 for 6, the backup center for the T-Wolves in the last game. He is going to have a much better night, pulling Jokic out away from the basket. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards covering the spread tonight, plus 7.5. I think they're going to win this game outright, actually, but give us the points on the spread. All right, that's our 3Z. We got Minnesota plus 7.5 going to go into Denver, get that win or at least cover. I like Hawks Knicks over 217.5, and I like the Pittsburgh Penguins to even the series against the Philadelphia Flyers tonight.
Crime Dog McGruff was the this is your brain on drugs. This is your with the scrambled egg. He was that guy. So he's saying that I'm a narc and I'm a goody two shoes. Thank you, 484.
I don't know if you'd be great in the rotation. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's a strong suit for you. You definitely would like hold it too long, bro, and definitely make it
party, Sammy. I'm cool.
You would definitely kill the roach.
I party. I do like to kill cockroaches. It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour number 2 is coming up next. We may or may not have a surprise guest popping by in hour number 2. I hope we do. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
Sports sponsored by Unbound.org. Padres off today. They'll be taking on the Colorado Rockies for a 3-game set starting tomorrow. And then they'll be in Mexico City taking on the Diamondbacks for Saturday and Sunday in a special 2-game series. Lakers back tomorrow night after stealing game 1 against the Houston Rockets. That game, you can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You don't change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
That's how it starts.
And they just keep winning.
Padres win it 2-1. They win the series, taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels.
Well, gotta show off for the new boss, right? Today's a travel day to head to Colorado. Plus,
the Hawks are just happy to be there and playing some carefree basketball. I like them covering the spread in the Garden, plus 5.5. I like the Warriors straight up. Take them with the points if you want, plus 2.5. I like them on the money line. I think they get it done.
You cannot be serious.
LaMelo was unreal. Their offense is fantastic. Kobe White, there's too many threats there at the guard spot for them to deal with. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than people give them credit for. Over 218.5.
So close, I can taste it.
That's not going to work.
Let's get in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
It's San Diego Sports 760.
That one hits.
It's hour number 2. It's Sammy's Bad at Big Voice Guy. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. If you missed Sammy's picks, we'll recap them at the end of the show here today. It's been a fun one so far. Hope everybody is safely celebrating a 420 out there. As our buddy Jay Silves on YouTube says, Stizzy Blue Dream on a beautiful San Diego 420. Pod sustaining, but for how long without more contribution from the big 3? And slug? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Interesting that the Padres are off tonight.
Oh, you think they're getting after it?
I think that I bet some of the players participate.
On the way to the Mile High City, getting Mile High.
Oh, I'm sure there's some very good green out there.
I tell you what, I found this account on Instagram yesterday of this guy who takes a candy of sorts as he's going into Costco, and then he just kind of recaps the whole thing on his phone, like he stays filming the entire time.
So he vlogs himself.
So he vlogs himself as he eats a cannabis gummy and then walks through the whole Costco, and then he does a review of what he bought when he gets home. It is one of the most entertaining, hilarious videos you'll ever watch in your life, because he just buys all the worst food imaginable for you because he's high as he's walking through Costco. Quality 420 content.
Yeah, what is the best meal on a 420?
I mean, pizza. McDonald's sounds good. Pretty much anything that's terrible for you.
A burger.
Cheez-Its.
It's an underrated 420 snack.
Tell me about it.
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers. Fascinating. Now, do you go s'mores? Do you go peanut butter? What do you, or just eat the raw graham cracker?
If those are there, if they're accessible, they can definitely be a part of the equation. But
you're telling me you're just throwing a graham cracker in the mouth plain.
Everyone on the text line who participates in 420, they know exactly what I'm saying.
Just a plain graham cracker.
Yep. You know the honey grams? Honey grams?
That's kind of crazy.
You first off, you're gonna crap on it until you try it, and then you're gonna be like, "Whoa!"
All right, I'll have faith in Sammy, much like our betting picks. But I do think Jay Silves on YouTube brings up a great point. You look at this Padres team, and it's great, man. They're winning a ton of baseball games. They're playing awesome. They have the best closer in baseball, maybe the best pitcher in baseball on their team right now, in Mason Miller. But the slug still isn't there. The power still isn't there. So yeah, it's great that they've gone like 14-3 or 15-3 over their last however many games, 18, I think. But you look at the Padres, and it's just such a question mark of when is Manny Machado going to get going. I think he's hitting like 186. Fernando Tatis Jr. is getting on base. He's hitting the ball hard, and apparently by metrics and nerd stats, he's hitting the ball harder than anyone in baseball. But none of the hard hit balls that Fernando Tatis Jr. is hitting are actually going over the fence, which is a big part of why Fernando Tatis Jr. is on the baseball team. So you look at these Padres, and the questions will continue to stack up. But if they keep winning, that's a great Band-Aid. But at some point, is this sustainable? My answer would probably be no, especially if there's holes in the starting rotation that we haven't really seen spring a big leak yet, right? Like, when is Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez going to have such a big problem that it translates into the rest of the pitching staff? I love what Michael King has been doing so far this year. I really, really like what Germán Marquez and Walker Buehler have been doing this year. Same with Randy Vasquez. But when are the problems going to start to pop up? And when is the offense going to have to carry the full load? I don't know that this offense is fully capable of carrying the full load.
Well, if they're not capable, it's very concerning because Machado and Tatis are paid to be capable of doing that. But it is, they feel like right now, while we want to give them props because they're playing good baseball, there are concerning signs. The concerning signs are that the lack of power, the fact that the stars aren't performing. It's the pro side of this is that they have depth. They have a lot more depth than I think a lot of people would have given them credit for before the season started. It's fun seeing Jackson Merrill kind of building off that rookie season where last year felt like a little bit of a speed bump. Ramon Laureano has been fantastic. You'd be getting production from other places like your Luis Campusanos and guys like that. We all knew the bullpen would be great. That can maintain, that can be fantastic.
Especially as it gets healthier. Like we haven't seen Jason Adam really get into his flow yet. Adrian Morejon hasn't gotten into his flow yet. Once those guys are really cooking, you're talking about turning an 8-inning game into like a 6-inning game.
The problem was Friday night because Matt Waldron got blasted, and it's great what we've been able to get from what AJ Pillar's been able to get from German Marquez and Walker Buehler. But you do wonder how sustainable that is, especially as teams get more tape on these guys as they go throughout the season. It's these guys have to hit. Like if there's
no reason you should just be out of an 8-0 ball game, right? It was 6-0 by the time Matt Waldron left it. Like you shouldn't just feel like the game's over and you're going to punt on it. This offense should be able to do something.
That's everyone blames Matt Waldron. He had a terrible outing, but why did they score 0 runs? And like I get there was a lot happening that day with the Padres sell the team. They were coming off this heater crazy day in Padre land, but it's like the Padres are not going to go far if Tatis and Machado don't get it together. And it's just a fact. They are not going to be winning playoff series when they step up in competition if these guys don't get going. They can get going. You can look at that on the flip side of that. It's probably better that your big concerns are your two big superstars will get it going versus a lack of depth in the lineup. So that's a positive I think the Padres have going for them. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned a month into the season that these guys aren't hitting the ball well. And I know about the underlying metrics. I know people are always like, well, Tatis hitting the ball hard. Yeah, he doesn't get paid to hit the ball hard. He gets paid to hit the ball over the wall.
No, the RBIs have been ticking up. He's getting on base more, but you're right, Sammy. Until we start seeing it fly out of the ballpark, it is kind of crazy because you look around baseball and Tatis, when he signed that contract, the thought was by this point, he would already be mentioned in the same breath as the Aaron Judges and the Mike Trouts as the best hitters in baseball. And he's simply just
right.
Not
Can
there.
He be the number one on a championship winning team?
That's the contract, but that's not what he is yet. Maybe there's a lot of time for that to change around. I don't know. Like people want to just go back to the steroid thing. I don't know that that's where I go with Fernando Tatis Jr. I go to the fact that there was like an entire season where his shoulder was out of the socket. Remember the subluxations? So I just think that maybe that injury's had a lot longer lasting impression on him than we all give it credit for. All right, let's get to the big three of hour number 2. Sammy's going to rip through the top stories in the world of sports. The text line continues to roast me about how uncool I am, and that's fine. That's fun. I guess we can stick with that.
I don't think they believe that you'd be a great rotation guy.
Bro, I am the dopest. I listen to Wiz Khalifa. I like that song Marijuana by Kid Cudi. I'm all in, dog. I got this stuff. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
So why mess your whole night up when you just have a nice glass of red wine? Is all I'm saying.
See, the fact that you just said that is exactly why you're not a part of the rotation.
Maybe a Pinot Noir?
Sir Will is asking what everyone's favorite stoner movie is.
The Harold and Kumar movies are great. Cheech and Chong, a little bit before my time, but I do appreciate those movies. I think they're fantastic. I'll tell you what, I love Pineapple Express.
Well, but yeah,
Pineapple Express is one of my favorite comedies ever, not just stoner films.
The one, so text is 70470. Start your message with team. What's your favorite stoner movie? Coming from Sir Will. Harold and Kumar, fantastic film. The problem with Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, if you watch it and you have partaken in 420 activities and you don't have the right snacks around you, it can be a real internal battle going on about how you acquire food.
What's funny is like when I first watched Harold and Kumar, I was in 8th grade. I didn't even know what weed was really. And so I'm watching this movie thinking, oh, these guys are acting kind of weird, not really understanding they're just smoking cigarettes. What's going on here?
Anything like an Anchorman, a road trip, great film.
Is Anchorman a stoner movie technically?
No, it's a stoner movie.
I'll tell you, Super Troopers, way up there.
Yes, This Is the End.
Is that a stoner movie?
But it's a bunch of stoners in the movie.
I guess it's more
anything with Seth Rogen works.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Sammy, where are we going in sports?
All right, so one of the big news of the day we haven't really got to yet. Being reported per Adam Schefter, the Eagles are looking to move on from A.J. Brown, and they're expecting that after June 1st, it's more manageable with the money. They will likely complete a deal with the New England Patriots, sending A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. If this were to happen, we don't know compensation yet. Do you like this move for both sides?
I'm just a little confused why we're hearing about it now. Like a June 1st, when's the last time we had an NFL trade that we found out a month and a half before it actually happened? Like the timing is weird at the very least. Can we all just admit that? Like it's not like Adam Schefter is saying, oh, expect the Patriots to make a move for A.J. Brown on draft day. That story would make a lot of sense coming out on April 20th when the draft is literally coming up in 4 days. But the fact that he's saying that on June 1st, there's a possible trade happening between the Eagles and the Patriots, it seems bizarre to me. And what happens if the Eagles draft a wide receiver in this year's draft? Or maybe the Patriots don't draft a wide receiver in this year's draft. And then all of a sudden the trade falls through. Like so much can happen between now and June 1st. It's just bizarre that the timing is coming out like this. I will say, and there's a lot of internet conspiracies already about this, like this has something to do with the Diana Rossini thing and Mike Vrabel. I don't know.
Why would that have anything to do with that?
I don't know if I buy into it.
They've been talking about this for months.
I agree. It's just a little bizarre to me, but I do love the memes of Mike Vrabel and Adam Schefter on the Titanic. Have you seen those yet? Now, like somehow Adam Schefter is being a shill for the Patriots right now. The memes are hilarious. I don't know that I see the connection. But it is weird.
But how would that connect?
April 20th story is being talked about for June 1st is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. But the AJ Brown thing, look, it's a good get on paper if it happens for New England. They don't have a number one receiver. Kayshon Boutte is a good player from LSU, but he's not a number one. They need him as a number two. And you acquire a big time target. Now, I would be a little concerned if I am New England. Less because Vrabel's there and he coached him in Tennessee, so he knows how to deal with him. But I would be a little concerned that, like Drake May, I mean, third year, a lot of expectations because they were just in the Super Bowl, but definitely overperformed in that they beat three heavily injured playoff teams. Do you worry what's going to happen to Jalen? What happened to Jalen Hurts going to happen to Drake May, and that he's going to be calling for the ball left and right, going on vlogs, going on podcasts, just complaining about not getting enough touches, and this is a young quarterback. Jalen Hurts at least kind of got to be like, F off, honestly, because I went to 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, won a Super Bowl. Drake May doesn't have that kind of credibility. So I would be a little concerned that Drake May is going to get run over in that regard. But on paper, if he's on the straight and narrow, which is a big if, it's a good get for New England. And in terms of Philly, I think they need to get out of the A.J. Brown business. That relationship soured, and I think Jalen Hurts will actually be better without the headache of A.J. Brown.
It feels like the Patriots are building something special and young right now. I don't know why you turn to this. It doesn't make sense, but I do love the memes of Mike Vrabel and Adam Schefter holding hands at a resort pool. It's very, very funny. Keep them going.
Steve Kerr, unsure about returning, says after the game they get eliminated Friday night that, it's kind of you can hear a voice too long, can run its course, any job. Talking about retiring. Per ESPN today, the Warriors are working on an extension with Steph Curry. Should Curry want to be back, especially if Steve Kerr is not there?
It does feel like Curry is going to be a lifetime Warrior. I don't know what moves they're going to make in this offseason to try to be competitive once again, but I doubt Curry and LeBron will have the same year as their farewell tour. And I think they're both very deserving of that farewell tour. So Curry may be there for a couple more years. I actually think it's the right time for Steve Kerr to step away and retire. Like, think about what that dude's done. And he talked about it a lot in his post-game press conference, saying I might be the luckiest man in NBA history because he played with Michael Jordan and he coached Steph Curry. Like, he kind of tripped into 2 incredible situations. And Steve Kerr has plenty of rings to back it up. He's had health issues. It feels like the last decade, Steve Kerr's never been fully healthy. He's been dealing with a lot of off-the-court stuff. It does feel like he has other aspirations in life, whether it's political or whether it's being a pundit somewhere. Like, Steve Kerr can do a lot still. And I do think that this is the right time for him to step away and keep his legacy as one of the greatest winners in basketball, period, as a coach, as a player. Keep that intact and maybe just step away from the game because the last few years of Steph Curry with the Warriors probably ain't going to be pretty.
Right. Well, it's totally what he wants to do. He's one of the best, if not the best coach in basketball. Anyone would want him if he wants to go somewhere else. He could do that. I am right. Whatever he does, he has a big career in front of him. If it's in, on TV, like Steve Kerr is great on the mic. Anyway, with Steph Curry though, I get where Curry doesn't necessarily. He's won 4 rings. He's a legacy in the Bay, one of the greatest athletes to ever come out of the Bay. Like, why are you going to change that? But in terms of winning, that is not the place to be. Now,
of course not, but he's tied to so much more than just basketball in the Bay Area.
Right, but he would still be tied to all of his connections if he wanted to go chase it somewhere because he's still an elite level player. He's not just wasting away on the final few years of his career. Look, I get Jimmy Butler will be back next year. You're going to have Porzingis for a full season, Draymond Green, but all those guys are in their 30s.
What if they actually do make a play for LeBron this offseason? It's Jimmy,
it'd be interesting.
Steph, and LeBron.
I mean, it would be like a one final run. Now,
right.
I mean, the team would be terrible when they all retire, but hey, if you went with one run, it would be interesting. I get it if Curry wants to just remain a Warrior and do the Kobe thing where you're with your team your whole career, but if he wants to go win, he probably has to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how that plays out. It does feel like the Warriors, as we knew it for the last 15 years, it feels like, is dead and gone. And we'll see whatever the next iteration is. But also, who's coming in to replace Steve Kerr? Like, talk about a daunting job.
Yeah, and
you're getting fired in 2 years, no matter who you are. That's called the burn job in the NBA. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. The NBA playoffs are rocking and rolling, man. We'll tell you which ones are done, which ones still have life. That's next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Tomorrow night, we got game 2 of the Lakers and the Rockets first round matchup. Can the Lakers go up 2-0 or is Houston going to answer back? Pregame will begin at 7:15, tip off at 7:30 right here on your home for Lakers basketball in San Diego. San Diego Sports 760 615 texting into the show on this glorious 420 saying my favorite stoner movie is every movie with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, it's a little Speed.
That's a good dude. Speed is elite.
Great.
Sandy Bullock has never been better.
Dude, do you know?
How about Jeff Daniels in Speed? He's in it for exactly 10 minutes. He dies right away. No spoilers.
Spoilers. I guess it came out in the 90s. So if you haven't seen it, it's kind of on you.
Have you seen him talk about that? He was like, I thought my career was going pretty good. And then I got the script for a movie where I died in the first 5 minutes. And he's like, oh, this is what Hollywood thinks about me.
Well, speaking of Jeff Daniels, a little Dumb and Dumber.
Great choice. 615 also saying, I don't know how you've come this far into the show and not mentioned Half Baked yet.
Yes, sir.
How about Harlan Williams in Half Baked? Is great.
Dude.
Dave Chappelle should have made more movies. That's all I would say to that. Because that movie's hilarious, man. Congratulations to the 615. Maybe the pick of the day. But yeah, you could let us know what your favorite stoner movie is here on a 420. Go ahead and
everyone's already out celebrating.
70470. Start your message with team.
420 is not a big bar night though.
No, it's a big night for Domino's delivery. It's a big night to sit on your couch. There's probably
a big delivery driver.
Zero crime on 420 because everyone's sitting inside doing nothing.
It's like our purge. It's like our purge, how they get rid of crime, except everyone just gets high and just mellows out. Just chills.
Just melt right into your bed or melt right into your couch.
Into couch.
Have fun, everybody who is participating today. Enjoy it, I guess, is the right thing to say.
I guess.
All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. All right. When we look at the NBA playoffs so far, I think that a lot of people, including myself, probably including Sammy, who roots for the Lakers, were surprised when the Los Angeles Lakers go up 1-0 on the Houston Rockets. Now, KD was not playing in that game. He's dealing with a right knee contusion. Is there an update on that, Sammy?
Ime Udoka said he is a game time decision for game 2 tomorrow. So,
man, they can't afford to go down 2-0. Especially with what could be coming back for the Lakers. I would imagine KD is playing tomorrow night.
Right. All the pressure, despite the fact that the Lakers are looking to keep home court advantage, is on Houston. If Houston loses this game, because then I mean, it's at least going 6, even if they were to win the next 4. And right, you start, because of how spaced out these games are. The Lakers play Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, then like Wednesday. Like, these games are extremely spaced out. That really benefits the Lakers because we're starting to get in that timeline now where Luka and Reeves could come back, and a bad look for the Rockets. Even with KD out, all the pressure's on Houston. Like Ime Udoka with Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, on paper should be able to get through a Lakers team with no Luka and Reeves, and yet they kind of got punked the other night. And it's going to be a good series.
No, I think all the metrics would have told you Houston wins that game. By the way, they out-rebounded them, by how many more shots they took. What was it? It was 90-something to 60-something in shots taken.
They took 20. It was 93 or something like that.
Yeah,
93 to 66.
Crazy
shots
disparity.
taken.
Like the question is, can the Lakers be that good moving forward, and can Houston play that bad moving forward? And I don't think the answer is yes. I think it'll even out quite a bit.
But do you think the Lakers played well? Because I don't know if the Lakers necessarily.
I think Luke Kennard going off the way he did is not something you can rely on a night in, night out basis. I think DeAndre Ayton being as productive as he was is not something you can rely on a night in, night out basis.
That's fair.
The problem with this being 7-game series here early. Back when it was 5-game series in the early rounds, you could get away with maybe being a little bit less talented and a little less deep. In a 7-game series, whoever's the better team is going to come out on top.
That's fair, but I would say the fact that they took 93 to 66 shot advantage, they had 18 more offensive rebounds than the Lakers.
Right, but are the Rockets going to shoot this poorly in every game? Like they had 2 quarters where they were under 20 points.
Do you think the Lakers will rebound that poorly for the rest of the series?
It's the right question to ask. I do think it's more likely that Houston continues to that the Rockets continue to rebound at the same rate, but I don't think they're going to shoot this bad.
I just think they're a flawed team. Like they do not have a point guard, and Amen Thompson cannot shoot the ball, and the Lakers really put that on blast on Saturday night. So we'll see for game 2.
And whoever comes out of this series, by the way, is going to be facing OKC, who we can now pronounce the Phoenix Suns officially dead. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
So we'll start in the West. Dead. We're going to rip through these and say dead or alive. I would say the Phoenix Suns are dead. The 8 seed in the West is going to lose.
They were dead before they started.
They were, but I think game one took you all you needed to know. Game two, in fact, have you seen the spread for game two?
No.
17.5 points, which I might still be going OKC. All right, then Nuggets and Timberwolves. I think this is going to be a series. I know the Nuggets won game one. I think the T-Wolves absolutely
they're
still
alive. Timberwolves played better than them in game one, gave it up.
All right, Spurs, Trailblazers. The way Wemby played, I'm going to go ahead and say Trailblazers are dead.
Yeah, done. Credit to Portland, but they're done.
How about Wemby setting a franchise record for most points ever in a playoff debut? He had 35. That beats out
Tim Duncan.
Nicely done.
Timmy D.
All right. In the East, Pistons, Magic. Orlando leads this series 1-0. I think this is going to be a great series. I think it goes long.
Yes.
You're all there with that?
Yeah, the Pistons don't have shooters. And Kevin Huerter, when he's on the floor, they lack a massive plus-minus differential.
You're talking about an 8-1 upset. I could absolutely see it happening.
Orlando's good. Orlando's deep, and they were hurt for a lot of the year. They should have been a higher seed.
And they got some really exciting scores on that team. Cleveland and Raptors. I kind of think Cleveland's going to be able to run away with this. I think game two, the spread's up around 10 points. Sammy, am I missing anything here?
I do not think this series is done. I think Cleveland ends up winning, but I do think Toronto gets a couple games. They got blitzed early in that game one. Toronto's too talented to not get a couple games.
All right, Knicks, Hawks, I think is going to be fantastic. New York leads 1-0. I think this is going to be a great series, potentially game 7.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Hawks are too good, and they played pretty well for a first half in their first playoff game in a while, but the Knicks just kind of outlasted them.
And the final dagger, Celtics have already killed the 76ers.
Yes.
This thing is over. All right, take a quick break here. Coming up next, there's a chance we got a buddy jumping on. In fact, we do. Darren Smith is going to be joining us on the other side, talk about the Padres' new ownership as well as SDFC. That's next on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This was sponsored by Unbound.org. Padres back tomorrow night. They're off today, heading to Colorado for a 3-game set against the Colorado Rockies. They will also be in Mexico City, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks for a 2-game set over the weekend after taking 2 of 3 against the Angels. And the Lake Show looking to take game 2 against the Houston Rockets. Per Ime Udoka, as of a few minutes ago, Kevin Durant's status for game 2 is up in the air. He is a game time decision in that one. That game will be on our station, San Diego Sports 760, tomorrow night. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You don't change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy keeps the party rolling then from 2 to 3. Schaefer and Sliwa, our brand new afternoon drive show, will take you home this afternoon. How about this? Darren Smith joining us right now. D. Smith was just getting off the phone, I believe, with Mikey Varis, the head coach of SDFC. Darren Smith, anything good from Mikey Varis today?
Oh, it's a secret. It's embargoed until the SDFC kickoff show Wednesday at 5 o'clock on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
You'll have to tune in.
Let's call it tease.
Well, let's stick with SDFC for a second here, Darren, because I think for the first time in maybe its existence, they're hitting a bit of a rough patch. Do they have the guys? Do they have the coaches, the right people in place to kind of guide them through this and see them out to the other side?
It's very interesting that you say that, Fletch, because this just got me looking at last year's schedule just as a refresher, because what we remember about 2025 was, for an expansion club, nobody ever won more games. Nobody ever picked up more points than San Diego Football Club. But there was a 3-game losing streak in April of 2025. As a matter of fact, if SDFC wins one of its next 2 games, they're playing Houston at 5:30, then they're playing at home against Portland. If they win one of those next 2 games and pick up 3 more points, they will be exactly at 14 points, which is exactly how many points they had through the first 10 games of 2025. So it feels, I think, a little bit worse than it actually is because of all of the success and all of the winning. And because also this team got battered against Toluca and has been injured. And there's been a little bit of off-field discussion and controversy about players. Their scoring's a little bit up. Their goal prevention is unfortunately not at a good pace. But I truly don't think that the sky is falling here. Again, 1 win, and they're exactly where they were through the first 10 games of their club's history 1 year ago. So there you go.
Do you equate some of this to, you kind of touched on it there, like, you know, last year I think everyone was just so excited that there was an MLS team here, and so anything they did, people were kind of all over. This year they're top dogs. People are hunting them because they made the Final Four. Yep. Does that play into this a little bit, or do you think this is just maybe, you know, second year perception changing?
I think it's both. I do think that there is something to that for sure. I think that it's a big deal for some of these other teams to beat SDFC. Give an example. San Jose is a young up-and-coming team. They just destroyed LAFC last night, ran them off the field. And I know people with San Jose Earthquakes who thought, yeah, like our next big-time measuring stick is how do we perform against SDFC? I think Real Salt Lake felt that way. So you are getting these other teams best. There is no doubt about that. Now, that's a weird mindset that we could discuss about sports and mentality forever, whether you should or shouldn't have that kind of approach. But I do think there is something to that. I do think that people want to go out there and they want to prove a point against the team that won the Western Conference regular season title last year. And there's no doubt SDFC is not playing well. It's also a wounded group. They were without 6 defensive players on Saturday night. I don't know how you overcome something like that. You tried to put a midfielder there on the back line. Wasn't great, but it's out of necessity. So I do think, you know, that the sky isn't falling. I do still think it's a playoff team. I think other teams in this conference have gotten better. Real Salt Lake, San Jose, just to name a couple. So they got their work to do. And 7 more matches before the World Cup break. Got to get something going here. Got to figure it out. Got to stop. It's difficult enough given everything that they're already dealing with. And you can't add to that. You cannot give away free goals like what they did on Saturday night. So these are correctable. I think these are fixable things, and I think that they will get fixed.
Look, if you're missing some Darren Smith, which I know we all do at times, you can hear him on the SDFC broadcast right here on San Diego Sports 760. You can also find him and Marty at Friar Territory on social media, Marty Time TV. I saw you guys just had Jared Diamond on. Jared Diamond was a very popular man, probably responsible for thousands of dollars of subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal over the last 6 or 7 days. As he reported the news that the Padres may have their new owner, and it's Jose E. Feliciano, Darren. It's a fascinating one from a couple of different aspects. And the one that I found most interesting over the weekend as people started to dig in on who this guy was is the fact that he was a minority or a part owner of Chelsea FC, along with a guy named Todd Bailey, who is also a minority of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And apparently these two haven't seen eye to eye at times. And so my take today was kind of like, look, if there's some sort of beef between the Padres and Dodgers ownership in the future, like there was, I don't know, when Peter Seidler was owning the Padres, the only one this is great for is fans. I think this is excellent news for fans. If he is coming at this from a little bit of a personal angle, I don't know. What are your thoughts, I guess, going back from the start on Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones owning this team?
I'm hoping it's a good thing. It's like you said, everybody spent the weekend searching around, searching for some sort of information. I don't know what everybody else came up with. I didn't have a lot of luck there. What did I learn? I learned that he hiked Mount Kilimanjaro with his wife. I found myself on YouTube finding some of these private equity seminars in different parts of the world and going, I don't understand any of this, and my portfolio is trash, while I'm listening to these people talk about things that I cannot comprehend on a financial level. But, there also is the element of what it is that's happening at Chelsea. And I do think, right now it's an interesting time that you do have one of the co-owners of Chelsea Football Club being reported as the next owner of the San Diego Padres, because there is a little bit of fan discontent with Chelsea, and it played out over the weekend in some form of fan protest. If people are interested in such things, there's images and videos and all sorts of stuff. They talked about it and wrote about it on media in London, but maybe that's just a Chelsea thing. I agree with you. I think the whole dynamic with Todd Bowley owning a piece of the Dodgers and potentially Jose Feliciano owning, being the chairman of the San Diego Padres is really interesting. I mean, it's a really interesting dynamic because I love that. When Peter Seidler came to town, remember, he's another private equity guy, and his family had been in baseball forever, the O'Malleys, as people remember. And there was a little level of distrust. Well, what's this all about? What is this? This guy's going to come in here. And before too long, we understood exactly who Peter Seidler was. He wouldn't even say the Dodgers. He would say that team up north. He would refer to them as the Dragon. And it was real, and it's real. And I think the people in Los Angeles definitely picked up on it. And I know people here loved it. So I hope we can have something similar there, because that's what you have to deal with when you're in the NL West for as long as the Padres are in the NL West. These are the two teams that everybody looks to. So, this is what's happening right now. And if that adds another layer to the dynamic between the Dodgers and the Padres, then so be it. I'm all here for it.
When you look at the team on field right now, obviously having a lot of success, do you look at it as a positive thing that even though Machado and Tatis aren't playing very well, they're winning all these games? Or are you kind of seeing it a little concerned that this might not be able to last because they're kind of winning so much on the margins and not with the stars?
No, I think it's the former. I think it's 100% that we don't have to sit and do show after show after show and have conversation after conversation about what's wrong with Fernando Tatis Jr. If he doesn't have good at bats, you shrug your shoulders and you go, guess what? Jackson Merrill's due up next. Ramon Laureano, won't be long before we see him. Luis Camposano has captivated people here. He's got people's attention. And you could go on. There are other people. Xander Bogaerts is batting well with runners in scoring position. So I view it as a positive, Sammy, that these two guys have really done nothing through the first 22 games of 2026. And the Padres are 15-7, and the Padres have won 5 straight series, and that's good. I view that as a good thing because I think at some point, I don't know exactly what Fernando Tatis Jr. is anymore as an offensive player. I don't think it's going to continue like this, obviously. I still think Manny probably comes back to where Manny's always been in his career, but this was it. This is what we all talked about. How much did we all say the same thing? Well, this team's only going to go as Manny goes. It's only going to go as much as Manny and Fernando go. Well, Manny and Fernando aren't doing anything, and this team right now is doing really well. So I view that as a positive.
And they just went on the 14-3, which the 14-3 carried them to the postseason last year. They just did it again. Maybe it'll carry them to the postseason this year, and we'll see what happens then. All right, D. Smith, it is a very popular holiday here in San Diego. It is 420. Out of curiosity, you have a favorite stoner movie? We've been going back and forth with a couple of these.
Favorite stoner movie? Well, I'm old enough to have been through the Cheech and Chong days.
Sure.
So I can remember again, you can both ask your parents about this, but I'm old enough to have been, when I was in my smoking days, in high school, watching the Cheech and Chong movies. And, that was sort of what we gravitated towards. So if I'm going to represent the old on this show, then I will represent it well. And I will say Cheech and Chong for me. I don't know what the plots were for any of them. They used to just have these like massive joints that they would smoke, and their vehicles would be filled and billowing out with all sorts of secondhand smoke. And that sort of was us in high school, I suppose, to a certain extent.
Friar Territory, a part of the Foul Territory TV network. He's doing some awesome stuff with Marty Caswell, Heath Bell as well. Darren, it's fun to see you guys in some sort of fashion. Most of it's on Marty Time TV, right, on YouTube?
Yeah, you can find it all over the place. Friar Territory's out there on YouTube and wherever you find podcasts, and Marty Time TV Section 1904. It's on YouTube, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify. So be on the lookout for it all. It's all the content, and I'll be in there getting set. Our pregame show 5:00 for SDFC and Houston Dynamo on Wednesday.
Can't wait. We'll see you then, pal. Yeah, and you can hear him on every SDFC game here on San Diego Sports 760. D. Smith, the absolute best, with a good poll on Cheech and Chong as well. All right, we got one more for you. We will be back right after this. Recap of long shots if you missed it, and plenty more coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel. And I got to tell you, this popped up on my Instagram earlier today. It just shows you that anything can happen at any given time. There was a lady who sat down at one of the Ultimate Texas Hold'em tables, got the royal flush. That is a jackpot win, $61,000 at Valley View Casino and Hotel today. You got to get out there and check it out. Make sure you're a part of the Players Club. If you're not a member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. And when you join the Players Club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to use instantly at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers right off the jump. $10 a more play, which is free slot play, $10 a match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, which I just had the other day. Get the Austin Burger. You won't be sorry. And the more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, invitations to exclusive events, and more. In fact, this was a huge weekend at Valley View Casino and Hotel, celebrating their 25th birthday. A very big congratulations. Here's to year 26, which is going to be the biggest ever. Get on out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel. To learn more, you can visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. SDFC back on the road Wednesday night. They got the Houston Dynamo. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 5 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. You just heard from D. Smith. Always fun chatting with him. He had some good stuff on the Padres, some great stuff on SDFC. If you missed any of it today on the show, you can go back and listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Add us to your presets, please. Hit that little plus icon when you're listening to San Diego Sports 760 or when you're listening to the podcast. We would love to see those plus numbers take a big jump here in 2026.
Fletch, are you excited because it's on the TV right now? Are you excited about your boy Trent Williams being back on a 2-year, $50 million extension?
We're going to need to see the specs of that deal, but I am excited because you needed him this year. I don't think you need him past this year. You need him this year because this is the Super Bowl year. But Trent Williams, if he stays healthy, he's well worth the $25 million he's getting this year. I'm very curious to see how much of this is guaranteed money, or if this is really a 1-year deal that looks like a 2-year deal, or if this is a true 2-year, $50 million extension.
Well, we're going to know on Thursday if the Niners draft a tackle.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to try to draft his replacement. Now, I think that there's only really 2 options in the first round of the NFL draft for someone who could be that. Now, maybe the Arizona State kid, maybe that's perfect for them because they're not needing someone to draft right now to play this year. They have that set up, but they do need somebody to draft this year who's going to be ready to play left tackle next season. Curious what they do. All right, do you have long shots pulled up, Sammy? I do if you don't.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and rip through that real quick here.
Pittsburgh Penguins going to even the series against the Philadelphia Flyers, like Sid the Kid and the boys in the Battle of Pennsylvania to get even tonight. That's going off at -155. Hawks, Knicks over 217.5. The last game was 113-102 in favor of the Knicks. I think the Hawks settled down a little bit, and now that they're into the series, game 2, I think this game goes over. Also, OG Anunoby is questionable, so you're lacking a big time defender there for the Knicks. So over 217.5, and I like the Timberwolves to cover +7.5. I think they might win this game outright, but we're going to take them on the points +7.5. They had game 1, let it slip through their fingers. This is a crucial game for the Timberwolves. You do not want to go down 0-2 to Denver. I think Minnesota gets it done tonight. I think the series is going a ways.
I like it a lot. In fact, let's see. If it's a $10 bet, you're making like 70 something bucks. So nice work, Sammy.
That's some good snacks for tonight on 420.
We'll see if that smashes. I certainly hope it does. Yes, 420. The 760 has texted in and said Alice in Wonderland was the best movie ever on weed. Oh wait, that wasn't weed. Never mind. Yeah, you watch Alice in Wonderland, and that movie's like an acid trip in and of itself.
I was about to say, I don't know that that's a movie I'd want to watch. On marijuana,
just the ride itself at Disneyland, you're diving in deep, pal. It gets kind of freaky, especially when the lady turns around.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a great recommendation for tonight.
Have you watched Alice in Wonderland, like the 60s movie?
Yeah.
Dude, when the dude is puffing on the hookah, the caterpillar guy, and he says, "Who are you?"
You know what's the scariest movie? The scariest movie I've ever seen is that little girl Caroline. Remember that movie Caroline?
Oh, is it a Tim Horton movie, right?
Dude, I watched that movie way too young. I've seen horror movies that are not as scary as that little, and they're crawling through the door. I mean, oh my God, I hate that movie.
Yeah, it happens. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I always think about, it's like Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of the same little genre there.
Good stuff from the text line today. Great stuff from YouTube. In fact, Rich, I saw your comment earlier today. I'm sorry we didn't read it, but he said, hopefully Thok Majak gets some reps and becomes a great big for the Aztecs. So if you missed the news today, Thakbor Majak, Tay Simmons, and LZ Harrington all committed back to San Diego State. Huge news for the Aztecs because you're pairing that with Latrell Davis, who redshirted this past season. Remember the stud from San Jose State who can score through the roof. Next year is looking pretty positive right now. We talked about the kid from Rice last week. He's a really good scorer at like 6'8" coming in this year. Bear Cherry is going to be joining this program. There's been really, really positive news for Aztecs basketball so far this year. I know they're close, by the way, on their impact, whatever it was called, but the campaign that they're doing for NIL. And there's only a couple days left. So head on over to goaztecs.com if you want to be a part of that. All right, before we go, Sammy, good stuff today. Nice work. I did want to tell everybody that this is a huge opportunity for this week, especially if you got the family. If you're looking for some affordable family fun, you got to get on out to the Lakeside Rodeo. It's going down this Thursday through Sunday. And if you're looking for something that doesn't necessarily break the bank, but it's still a full-on event, my wife and I, we love this one. It's the Lakeside Rodeo. We've been volunteering out there for years. It's one of the best atmospheres you're going to find in East County this time of year. It's 4 days of action. Bull riding, steer wrestling, rodeo queens, and of course, tons of activations for the kiddos. You can get them involved in the rodeo as well. It's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo. It's built for families. It's fun. It's affordable, and everyone will find something they enjoy out at the Lakeside Rodeo. It's not one of those events where you're ready to leave after 20 minutes. Plus, it's supporting the El Capitan Stadium Association, which is a nonprofit that gives back to local youth out in Lakeside. You got to get out there, make a plan, bring the crew, and come check it out. This Thursday through Sunday, it's the Lakeside Rodeo, the 62nd annual. Get tickets now at lakesiderodeo.com. That's lakesiderodeo.com. I will see you out there.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Padres are off today. They start a series with the Rockies tomorrow night. It's going to be Randy Vasquez going against TBT for the Rockies. The first pitch is at 5:40. In NFL news, the Niners and Trent Williams agreed to a 2-year extension worth $50 million. The offensive tackle will get $37 million guaranteed, including a $22 million signing bonus. And it's the first day of the first round, the game twos of the first round of the NBA playoffs. Starting at 4:00, we got the Raptors at Cavs, Hawks at Knicks at 5, and T-Wolves Nuggets at 7:30. Lakers Rockets game 2 is tomorrow night at 7:15. The tip is at 7:30. You can hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Lakers are currently up 1-0. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Going long with Sammy.
That's going to be hot.
In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Now it's...
Welcome back to Going Long. Fourth week of the show. Again, appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Got a lot going on today. We got the big fella, Rich Hornberger. Funny, Brian, you were just talking about him. Rich Hornberger joining us at 2:30 today, talking into NFL Draft Week. We got a lot to get to. Want to hear from the big fella about his story. What was it like on draft nights, and kind of that kind of process as the week plays out. We're going to get to the Lakers in about 15 minutes. Steal that game one against Houston. Is it sustainable? They got out-rebounded by a lot in that game, got outshot 93-66. Can they sustain that? We'll get to that in a few minutes. But first, let's start with those Padres. So the Padres playing some damn good baseball right now. It's been, they're taking advantage. It's kind of hard. Fletcher and I have been talking about for the last few hours, and would love to hear from everybody. Text us 70470. Start your message with team 70470. Start your message with team. It's kind of hard when we look at this team right now because I want to give the Padres a lot of credit, and they've been winning ball games, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So there's two ways to look at this. The one way is they're winning games without Tatis and Machado playing like superstars. And it's pretty impressive. And if you would have told me before the year, the Padres would be winning all these baseball games and Machado would be basically hitting about 180 right now, and Tatis wouldn't have a home run 22 games into the season, I'd have been concerned. I'd have been very concerned that this team would even be in the picture in the NL West. And the fact is that they are winning all these games. Ramon Laureano has been fantastic. Jackson Merrill has been money for this team. It's been fun seeing him, at least, knock on wood to this point, playing, been healthy, because last year kind of felt like a speed bump for him, in that he had that great rookie year, was kind of this next potential superstar. Remember, signed the contract, started out the first couple weeks of the season last year, it was very good, and then just had a season marred by injuries. And when he came back, wasn't quite the same. It's been great seeing him. It's been great seeing guys like Luis Campusano get involved, and that's why the Padres currently half game back of the Dodgers right now with a record of 15-7. Now, very early on in the year, but that's a big credit to him. So that's the one way to look at it, is that the depth is there for the Padres because they're winning games despite their stars not performing. The other way to look at it is this sustainable? Because Tatis and Machado, we've said all offseason, this team's going to go as far as it takes them. And we went to the playoff series against the Cubs last year. Why did they lose that series? Machado and Tatis combined for 2 for 22. Tatis hit a double, and Machado hit that 2-run home run in game 2. Besides that, they were pretty much not existent in that series. People at the time wanted to go, and I get it. It's a small sample size over 3 games. It's hard to, in baseball, crush someone when they don't perform for 3 games. But they also, we've seen this before from them. Tatis has had big moments in the playoffs. Machado, not so much. Outside of that 2022 playoff series where they beat the Dodgers, outside of that, Manny Machado has been a 209 career postseason hitter. So Manny Machado, and he's only getting older, so it's hard to kind of sit here and sell that he's just going to magically one postseason put it all together. So it's kind of a weird place with the Padres right now, because if you would have said, again, if you would have said that Machado was underperforming, 180 hitter right now, Tatis doesn't have a home run, Joe Musgrove would not have pitched, and it's 420 today. So if Joe Musgrove wouldn't have pitched, Nick Pivetta is out indefinitely right now. Coach Quintero was on our show last week and said he didn't have any inside sources, but was talking about how he thinks he might be out for the season. That injury did not look good, and Craig Stammen and company has certainly been very cagey. But if you would have told, I think, any Padre fan, any realistic Padre fan, that they'd have got, they're dead in the water, especially when the Diamondbacks are sitting there not too shabby at 13-9 either, and yet they're here. So it's hard to get a gauge on the team. I would lean on the positive side of things, that, hey, they're winning ball games. The depth is there. And at some point, Tatis and Machado are going to get it together. And Machado is known for having these slumps. We've talked about, it feels like every single season, either an awful start to the season for Manny Machado, and then he kind of ends up with his same numbers he has year in, year out, And do I think Tatis is this bad? No. Tatis is a very good player. His RBI numbers have picked up the last couple of weeks. I know metrically he's hitting the ball very hard, so people kind of point to that. But at the end of the day, he does have to come through. I would lean positive in that I would much rather have this problem from a Padre fan perspective as the stars, the guys whose names are on the marquee, aren't performing and the rest of the team is, versus the other way around where it's Tatis and Machado who are unbelievable and no one else. Because the last year, that's what it felt like. Outside of the playoffs, it felt like last year it was Merrill when he was available, Tatis, Machado, and that was about it. And Arise. And Arise didn't come through with runners in scoring position, but Arise was still a pretty decent player. It feels like that's where we were at, and we were just desperate for someone at the bottom end of the order, a Jake Cronenworth, a guy like that, a Bryce Johnson to come through. That's why they acquire Freddie Fermin and they acquire all these guys. So I think overall, very positive for the Padres recently. They've been winning a bunch of ball games. A little worrisome with Matt Waldron on Friday night. You're worried about the depth there, and it really just points to Germán Marquez and Walker Buehler have to be money. They have to hold up until at least one of these guys come back, Pivetta and Musgrove, and really both of them. If the Padres want to stay afloat here, but good weekend, solid weekend against the Angels team that has kind of overperformed up to this point this year, and credit to the Pods playing some damn good baseball right now. All right, going to the NFL draft. The NFL draft Thursday. Now, the NFL draft is personally one of my favorite events of the year. This is really where teams are built. I mean, we look at free agency, and in the NFL, we see teams win free agency, but a lot of times the team that wins free agency doesn't necessarily win on the field. But the teams that are consistently playing in for the Super Bowl in the conversation are drafting well. And it's not a coincidence that the Jets and the Cardinals and Washington, all these teams that are consistently picking towards the top of the draft, and the Giants up until this point are, because they're not hitting on picks late. Anyone, Brent, you and I, we can sit here and make the top 10 picks. It's slotted. The first round is essentially slotted as who's going to go, what value. When you make your hay is late in the draft. I believe we have some Brett Veach now. Brett Veach, the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs, was talking about last week on his pre-draft interview about what he expects from the first round, not just from the Chiefs, but from the first round as a whole.
I think that the fans will be in for a treat next Thursday, because I think that, you know, the grades are going to be so close from some of these tackles and DNs and other receivers that a lot of these guys that are mocked high may go a little lower, and a lot of these guys that are getting mocked a little lower may go a little higher, because I think they're so close this year. It's not this huge gap and big fall off. And even with the offensive linemen, I mean, there's traits that you like and some things that all these guys need to clean up and work on. But I think that the grades are so close that it'll come down to the scheme fit and, you know, coach's analysis, the vision, the fit for these guys. So I think it should be an entertaining night and look to probably be a lot of trades. And I think that's what a draft like this, when you don't have, you know, 2 or 3 franchise quarterbacks and, you know, a Will Anderson or a Myles Garrett, I think it does lend itself to open up to a lot of fun and a lot of excitement. So I think from a fan's perspective, they should have a lot of fun next Thursday.
I can't wait. And since this interview, we've seen the Cincinnati Bengals trade their number 10 overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. They needed a defensive tackle, needed some pass rush help. We've kind of talked about ad nauseum at how bad the Bengals defense has been for the last few years and probably prevented Joe Burrow from playing deep into the postseason outside of that 1 year against the Rams. But this draft is also unique, and why I agree with Brett Veach and that we're going to see a bunch of trades. We have 6 teams that have multiple first-round picks. The Jets have 2 and 16, Giants 5 and 10, Browns 6 and 24, the Chiefs 9 and 29, Dolphins 11 and 30, and the Cowboys at 12 and 20. So you have a lot of ammo in this year's draft. And this year's draft is unique in that it's not just like most years where there's 3 quarterbacks that are getting slotted towards the top, and it's really QBs, and the draft starts at number 4. I mean, Fernando Mendoza is going to go number 1, and then we don't know. I mean, Arvell Reese, the pass rusher from Ohio State, or David Bailey, the linebacker from Texas Tech, are up in play for that number 2 pick. It feels like a draft where we're getting back to the offensive and defensive lines win. I mean, look, Seattle dominated on the offensive defensive line last year, won a Super Bowl. Philly the year before that, the Chiefs the year before that. All these teams that are flashy in the Bills and the Ravens and the Chargers and the Bengals to an extent that score a lot of points don't really end up winning late in the year. I mean, because when it gets tough and the competition gets better in January, you have to win when it's ugly. You can't just win when it's pretty and it's 80 degrees outside in September when it's snow on the ground in Chicago at 10 degrees, under. So there's a lot here, and you're seeing, like, even take that Bengals and Giants trade. The Bengals are trying to get better right now. They signed Brian Cook in the offseason, Boy Mafe, Jonathan Allen, Dexter Lawrence. They're trying to go with a veteran-laden group to get this thing back. And we saw this last year with why the Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. We saw them trade Micah Parsons to the Packers defense that is trying to be good right now for a Super Bowl run. The Packers and Bengals are also 2 teams that have perennially been in the postseason, but also have been on the outside looking in for the last little while. None of them have, the Packers haven't reached a Super Bowl recently since Rodgers. The Bengals ended up making it, but lost to the Rams in that game. And you can tell they're panicking, trying to go all in just to try to win now. In rare instances where we see the Cowboys and the Giants making better GM decisions and better personnel decisions, and where the Giants or the Cowboys, I mean, Jerry Jones, what person in football is more likely to want a big splash move that he can go to the press and the microphone with at the press conference? He made the move to move off Micah Parsons for the future of the franchise. John Harbaugh moving off Dexter Lawrence, who's a very talented defensive tackle who will end up helping the Cincinnati Bengals. But you're seeing the Giants now acquire 2 top 10 picks. Now you have the Cowboys at 12 and 20. So there's a lot of ammo here in the draft to go get younger. And the Seahawks last year won a Super Bowl with a bottom 10 spending defense. A lot of the times we see teams win that don't spend big money on defense. Pittsburgh has constantly been, over the last decade, one of the highest spending teams on defense. And look where Pittsburgh's been. They have a great defense every year. Do they win playoff games? No, because they don't have a quarterback. They don't have an offense. It's an offensive driven league now. And I think on Thursday we will certainly see some surprises. And it's a draft that really is offensive line laden, defensive line laden. And we're going to see if these teams kind of go back to the roots of you win on offense, you win on defense. How does that go moving forward? It also tells us a lot in the mock draft. And Brett, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the draft, but like, it's funny how over the years, for a while there, Le'Veon Bell, 10 years ago, teams didn't want to pay a running back. Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell, it was done. Then Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley changed teams, go to Baltimore, and the Eagles have a lot of success. Now everyone wants a running back. Jeremiah Love might go number 4 to the Tennessee Titans. Safeties, we might have 3 safeties go in the first round this year, starting with Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, Dylan Thyman from Oregon. Safety was a position that a lot of people felt were dead and were devalued after those kind of Cam Chancellor, those big time safeties, Eric Berry for the Chiefs. I mean, countless years where it was all about having a big safety, Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed. And after that, we saw the people completely devalue the safety position. Now we're seeing the safety position be kind of a premier spot in the first round. So it's fun, the ebbs and flows of the NFL, how we say this position's done. You don't pay a running back. You don't pay this. And yet now those are premier positions where people are looking at in the first round. It's funny how it's cyclical year in, year out.
I'm excited, but I'm definitely not as excited as ESPN. I just laughed. They already have a countdown timer up.
Yes, I was watching this morning.
We're only 74 hours and 45 minutes away. That's a little too early. Maybe we get within 48 hours. I can see it, but it's just like we're outside of 3 days and we already got a countdown timer. So,
yes, it will certainly. Yes. So if you want an active update right now, it is 74 hours, 44 minutes and 42 seconds from right now will be the first pick in the NFL draft. By the way, can we not have the Raiders take 20 minutes to hand the first pick? Like, let's go.
They will.
They will, because they want to own the thing. But the draft really starts at number 2. All right, coming up next, NBA playoffs. The Lakers steal game 1 on home court, but from Houston, no Kevin Durant. We got an update a little bit ago about Kevin Durant's status for game 2 against the Lake Show. We're going to get into that. Plus, a lot of blowouts the first weekend of the NBA playoffs that say something about the talent disparity in the association. That's coming up next. Rich Ornberger at 2:30, jumping on, talking some NFL with me. And then we got Schaefer and Sliwa rounded out at 2:45. Coming up next on Going Long on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to Going Long. NBA playoffs been fantastic. By the way, I'm having a little trouble pulling up our text line. So if you want to hop on the YouTube, San Diego Sports 760, love to hear from you guys in the comments, or just tap in on X and shoot a follow. Going Long with Sammy on San Diego Sports 760. That game the other night was fun. Now, as a diehard Laker fan, I really enjoyed it. Heading into the series was such an unknown because Luka and Reeves are out at least for the beginning of this series. Don't know, kind of up in the air if they could come back at some point. But then we get the shocking news right as Schaefer and Sliwa show is ending Friday that Kevin Durant had a right knee contusion in practice earlier on in the week, and they kind of hit it. It didn't come out until they had to give the injury report on Friday night. Ends up missing Saturday's game. Ime Udoka recently provided an update, and this is per Shams on his status, Kevin Durant's status for tomorrow night against the Lakers.
Kevin Durant's status for game 2 is up in the air. And my understanding is Kevin Durant is dealing with a deep bruise in his right patellar tendon that he suffered last Wednesday during a practice drill when he was chasing after a loose ball and collided that knee with a teammate. And that has since caused swelling, pain. It's impacted his range of motion in the leg as well. And for Kevin Durant to miss a playoff game, that speaks to the severity of the injury in and of itself. And the Rockets, they're optimistic that Kevin Durant is going to be able to return as soon as game 2, but it remains to be seen, just depending on how that knee, that leg responds to this deep bruise in the patellar tendon.
So certainly a big injury. Now, I think a lot of people thought, like Fletch thought earlier, that they were, which I think has some validity to it. They didn't know if the Lakers could hang in game 1 with no Luka, no Reeves. If there is anything to it, not that he was load managing a playoff game, but if his knee is hurt, don't push it. See if we can get this win anyway and roll into game 2 where he'd be better. Well, the Lakers flipped the script. The Lakers, whatever you want to say about the Lakers and the fact that they're obviously not playing with their A team, no Luka, no Reeves, you're losing a lot of offensive production. But I think a guy that deserves all the credit in the world for Saturday night in game 1 is JJ Redick, because JJ Redick last year got a lot of criticism, rightfully so, about him playing as starters the entire second half in that game 3 against Minnesota and completely mismanaged that series. Now, the team was very flawed, but he did not have a good playoff series. Saturday night, they came ready to play. And that could have been a game where people, the Lakers, went into the series saying they're trying to win, but really not believing they could. And JJ had them believing. And Luke Kennard, 27 points. DeAndre Ayton, I thought, had a really big game, especially defensively against Alperen Şengün. And that was a major question mark coming into it. I mean, Ayton had, what do you have here? 11 rebounds? Yeah, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Rui had 14. Marcus Smart was excellent defensively with 15 and got a lot of contributions from everywhere. And the Lakers really exposed in that game against Houston. They don't have a point guard, and they're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league in Houston. They turn the ball over. They're 29th when adjusted for pace in turnovers in the league. And the Lakers just put a lot of pressure on them and forced them to hit shots. Now, the flip side of this today, a lot of critics saying that was kind of a fluky game 1, despite the 107-98 victory. The Rockets shot the ball, had 93 shots overall. The Lakers had 66. The Lakers got out-rebounded 21-3 on the offensive glass, and they got rebounded as a whole, out-rebounded 44-35 on the night. And so a lot of people, rightfully so, I get, are sitting here going, can Luke Kennard repeat that? Can Luke Kennard have 27 points? DeAndre Ayton give you 19-11 again against Şengün after adjustments from a good coach in Ime Udoka. And those are all very valid concerns. But the flip side of that is the Lakers got out-rebounded by 9. They allowed 27 more shots from the Houston Rockets because of all the offensive rebounds, and yet they won the game by 9 points. And so I think the series is going deep into it. I expect the Rockets to respond at some point, but all the pressure's on Houston this game too. Despite the Lakers trying to maintain home court advantage, the longer the series goes, the more the Reeves and Doncic piece come into it, especially with there being multiple games in between days, or multiple days in between games in this series. So I think we got ourselves a series on our hand. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And LeBron, before we get to Rich, LeBron was exceptional. And everyone, I think, thought heading into it, LeBron's going to have 40 points. LeBron's going to have to just score at will. And LeBron ran the offense and was just completely set up everyone else to have success in Rui and Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard, and kind of let those guys shine. And they did. It'll be interesting to see adjustments tomorrow night for game 2. But I think we got ourselves a series on our hands, and JJ Redick deserves a lot of credit for winning game 1, despite no Doncic and no Reeves. All right, coming up next, the big fella making his return to San Diego Sports 760, Rich Orenberger. Of course, you hear him in the mornings on 101.5 KGB with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. He's coming up next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres are off today. They start a series with the Rockies tomorrow night. It's going to be Randy Vasquez going against unknown for the Rockies. First pitch is set for 5:40. In NFL news, days before the draft, the Niners and Trent Williams agreed to a 2-year, $50 million extension. Williams is going to get 37 fully guaranteed, including a $22 million signing bonus. And it is the first day of NBA first round game 2s tonight. We got Raptors and Cavs at 4:00, Hawks at Knicks at 5, and Timberwolves Nuggets at 7:30. Lakers Rockets game 2 is tomorrow night. You can hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Pregame coverage will start at 7:15. We'll have the tip at 7:30. LA is up 1-0 in that series. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little heat. Getting warm around here. Light the fires, Big Daddy. Who's next in the hot seat?
Welcome back to Going Long right here on 760. So excited to get to talk to this dude right here. The big fella making his return to the airwaves San Diego Sports 760. Rich Warmberger, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Hey, it's good to be on with you, Sammy, for the first time. Very excited for the new show, buddy.
Oh, my guy, you're the best, dude. Thank you for hopping on. Well, I want to have you on for draft week. I mean, obviously, you're the only person in this building that can speak to being drafted, 4th round, 123rd overall by the New England Patriots. Like, what was draft night like for you? Because we hear so many stories of teams, giving assurances to players that they're going to go, higher or later. Like, what was draft night for you? And did you have assurances from other teams you were going to go before you did?
I didn't have any clue that I was going to be drafted. I thought that I was going to be in one of those situations where either if I was going to get drafted, I was going to either be a late round pick or I was going to be a priority free agent. But it was a shock. It was a shock to all of us, and it was awesome. My family and I celebrated, and it was one of the more incredible moments of my life. It certainly is one of those moments that I'll never forget.
So, all right. So you thought you were going to be an undrafted free agent, and what? You got the call and kind of freaked out?
Yeah. So I had pre-draft visits with a couple of different teams. I had good interviews at my pro day. I wasn't invited to the combine, but I performed well, obviously, during my final season at Penn State, and I performed well on my pro day. So I had confidence that I would get a chance at the NFL level, but I just had no idea that I was going to be drafted. I certainly didn't think I was going to be drafted as high as I ended up going in the 4th round. And I definitely didn't think it was going to be by the New England Patriots. They kind of slow played the whole situation, but it's just like them. They make a trade with the Raiders. They moved up the board a couple of spots, and I was available to select at that position, and they took me, 120 or so picks into the draft. And, it's that moment that changes your life forever, because you're on one trajectory prior to that day, and then your life completely changes with one phone call. And so for a lot of guys right now who have literally days until their life could change too, I'm sure there's a lot of nervous bellies around college campuses and hometowns where these players are either training or resting up for what will be a long rookie year here coming soon.
If you had been projected as a top pick or a 1st round pick, Fletcher and I were talking about this the other day. It used to be where everyone went to the draft, all the prospects attended and sat in the green room. Now there's usually only about 10. Would you have gone, or would you not kind of wanted to sit there if you had fallen?
That's such an interesting question, because I've never really been asked, and I've never really thought about it because I wasn't in that situation. But I would have probably gone, because especially at that time, 2009 was my draft year. There was the pomp and circumstance of the New York draft, where it was held every year. And there was a reverence for that moment for projected first rounders. And it's rare usually, it's usually maybe one, maybe two guys or really storylines about their draft stock falling, and they show up to the draft and they don't end up going in the first round. So if you feel like you're a lock, then you should go. Also, they don't make as big a deal about offensive linemen falling to the second round, for example, as they do a quarterback. It's so much more embarrassing when you're a projected top 5 quarterback and you fall all the way to the end of the first round, or you're a projected first round quarterback and you fall out of the first round into the second, or the third round. We've seen, those can be really disappointing moments. But for offensive linemen, usually you're given a lot of grace and a lot less camera time.
Do you that's awesome. Do you see, like, in terms of this year, so in the guys, going number 1, Fernando Mendoza, widely expected to go. I'm curious your thoughts on him. Do you see him as a true number 1 overall pick, or do you see him more as a product of the Raiders need a quarterback? There's not really other big time quarterbacks in this draft class, with a lot of them coming out next year. Do you see like it more as that, where it's more of a product of the lack of talent around him, or is he truly a franchise defining guy?
I think he's done enough at the collegiate level, regardless of the draft year. He would be a surefire first rounder. I mean, unless it was just one of those rare years where you just had, 5 or 6 quarterbacks who were rated above him somehow. But winning a national championship, playing as well as he did his final season at Indiana, it's hard to argue that he has the right stuff to be taken either first overall or certainly in the first round, even if it wasn't as thin of a draft as you described. And I think accurately so. I mean, this has been remarked on ad nauseum at this point, but this isn't the most talented draft, and certainly at his quarterback position. So, there is that, but I do think regardless of the year, Mendoza would be a lock first rounder. It would just be, would he be the first overall pick in a different draft? Probably not, if there was better talent available, but he would be a first rounder.
Do you see, like, this is the week where they're throwing BS rumors out there, trying to get guys to fall, but it feels like there's obviously been months on end since we've seen college football. And with the combine process, we see these guys fly up boards because they're, great on the combine, great in the weight room, but some guys were just better players than them at the college football level. Do you think GMs kind of take too much into account in the combine, or the NFL is just such a man's game that the combine is such an important piece over your tape on field?
I think the combine is a factor, but not nearly the factor everybody thinks it is. I think the combine is more of a marketing tool for the players at this point and a networking tool for the executives. So that is one of the rare occasions where all of these NFL scouts, player personnel directors, general managers can be in one city at one time and face to face. And you can have real conversations with close industry friends who may work for rival organizations, where it may be inappropriate for you to get dinner with a guy from the Bears if you work for the Packers, but at the combine, well, that's completely acceptable, even if you did have a standing relationship. So you kind of catch my drift. Like it's one of those rare occasions where these guys actually can do that, exchange notes, or hammer out some details of advanced negotiations like we see oftentimes following that date in February. Now, in terms of the players, I think the most important aspect of these teams getting them in, the combine location is to get their medical. That is a cattle call for all these teams to get their doctors' hands on these players, to get MRIs, screenings, make sure that everything's hemmed up in terms of, what they can tolerate in terms of a medical or injury history for these players. And so I think that's the most important part of the combine for most of these teams.
Rich Hornberger joining me right now. Your former team, New England Patriots, kind of an odd situation today. expected to acquire AJ Brown post June 1st because of the kind of cap hit from the Philadelphia Eagles. If that trade does go down, do you see that as a positive for Drake May and the Patriots, or would you make this move, him reuniting with Vrabel?
I think it would be a positive for any team to get their hands on a receiver at that caliber. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's young enough to have time on what's already a cemented contract, who will improve any roster immediately. And when you look at the Patriots and their needs, receiver is close to the top, and Drake May is a budding star at his position who needs some more help around him. So that feels like a win. Plus AJ Brown, it feels like there's been some discontentment in Philadelphia. You don't know how much of that is real or imagined or reported, but there seems to be some bad blood there. So it might be time for him on his side of the fence. This might be a win-win for everybody involved, including Mike Vrabel, who might need a little political cover after all of the bad press following the Diana Rossini rumors and the photos that were taken of them together at that resort. I mean, there's still, controversy swirling around that. He hasn't spoken publicly about it. So we'll find out exactly how all this gets hammered out. But this would be positive press for the first time out of Patriots camp in a while, especially after the release of that unsavory moment between Vrabel and Rossini.
One more question, because you brought it up. I'm curious with that, when you have situations like that as a player, where there's a head coach or a player, especially from a coach, where it's a very public incident, people got a lot of opinions on it. Like, how does that get handled internally? Because you mentioned he hasn't spoken about it publicly. Are players kind of like just acting like nothing happened, or are they talking about this privately? Like, how does that work as a player?
It really depends on, in this situation, the coach and how he's handled personal conduct issues in the past. If he's drawn a hard line and he's made it clear that if you step outside your marriage, it becomes a distraction to the team, you do something off the field that disturbs the team, disturbs the peace within the organization, that there's going to be retribution, well, then you better walk the walk. You better face those same consequences. Otherwise, your players, well, they'll lose faith in you as a leader. I think Mike Vrabel's done a really nice job of sort of being a player's coach in that, I think the players feel like he feels the consequences of their wins and losses as much as they do. I don't think he's shifting the buck onto the players when the Patriots lose. I think he's taken the L as, not only a coach and a leader, but a teammate to these players in some ways. And that's the best type of leadership. Now, we'll see. This is a whole different animal, when you have a personal conduct issue that has distracted the team. I don't know well enough how he's handled these things in the past with players on his squad. But if he's handled any of these, especially with the New England Patriots players, I start to think about Stephon Diggs and, whatever his public comments may have been during some of the things that have popped up with him over the short time they worked together, or, the times in the past with Titans players when he was a head coach there. If there's been moments where he's been heavy-handed with consequence, well, then he needs to sort of walk that walk. Otherwise, he'll lose some faith in the locker room. And the number one thing is he needs to try to squash this as quickly as possible and move on, because otherwise, if it lingers, it will be an enormous distraction for the team, because they'll be answering questions, a lot longer than is comfy for players who are preparing for a season.
Rich Orenberger, 1015 KGB. By the way, I heard Fletch this morning giving you crap for Pazookies, mispronouncing that. He didn't know that Gin and Juice was sung by Snoop Dogg. So just if you got some material for tomorrow, that's for him.
Is that true? How could he have grown up on the West Coast of this country?
That's what I said.
And not be aware of the song Gin and Juice. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm going to need that. That's chambered. Appreciate it, Sammy.
Rich, you're the best. Big Rich, City, and Fletch. Go listen 101.5 KGB in the morning, 6 to 10 weekdays. Coming up next, they're already loaded up in here. John Schaefer, Alan Sliwa on the other side. Going long, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. New imaging from Big Voice Guy.
Wow.
CJ Newton. Shout out to him.
Brent, did he
I picked the song. CJ made it.
Did he take care of
nice
What's
effort.
New as well?
I love it.
Grab that.
With Schaefer and Sliwa?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
He sent it to us.
He did?
Yes.
My email's down. I am terrible with technology.
Is your email really down?
No. that's what makes it even harder.
No, that was a lie.
That was excellent.
Oh,
I didn't know that was
when?
happening.
You know when? Email us Friday.
I was out Friday. No,
We've had,
Brent was out Friday.
We've had a couple days to sit on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Right.
saw it. I didn't do anything with it. So that's on.
No, either did
that's
I,
on me.
because I didn't see it.
It's there.
Okay, well, then we
What's
might
up,
debut a new
Sammy?
segment then.
What's up, boys? How you
going on?
doing? What you got? I heard you guys got a big show today. You got Chris
Johnson's
Johnson,
going to be on the show. Yeah.
future Kansas City Chief,
I like that.
late first round pick.
Oh, I have no problem with him going to the Chiefs. I'd be more than happy to cheer for his success in KC. I got no issue with that.
We just had the conversation off air. And this is just a conversation in general. What if, like, your guy goes to the Chargers?
No problem. Easy.
You're cool with it.
Oh, like you're like
Or
San
no?
Diego State or something. Okay.
No, I'm not cool with it. But I'm
Okay.
saying my decision is easy. That, God bless what you did at San Diego State.
You know what? Okay, you bring up an interesting point. So I have a friend who is a massive Ohio State fan. Okay, their whole family, massive Buckeye fan. But they follow the NFL, but they don't really have a pro team, but they're huge
Right.
Ohio State fans. So he roots for like Ohio State players
In the NFL.
in the NFL.
Yeah, if you're on
Like,
the
he doesn't really have
Eagles
a
or
team.
yeah.
Easy.
But like honestly, once like if they're playing the Chiefs, they're dead to me. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
my
of
opinion,
course. Yeah,
I
yeah.
want them to have success. But
Not at the expense
there
of
were
the
guys
Chiefs.
from my high school went to the NFL, and I was like, I knew them. I was like, no, you're like, you need to
But here's my thing
get
with
destroyed today.
Bro, you knew them. What do you mean?
I was like, no, I was
cheer for them?
avidly rooting against them. In fact, our whole group chat, it's it's a receiver. He went to the Saints. Blanking on his name.
It's like a really
Olave?
close friend.
No, not Olave. The slot guy. Anyway, one of my good friends was best friends with him, and people were like, "Oh, he went to RB." I was like, "I don't care. He scored his first touchdown against the Chiefs."
Well, my thing with the draft is if Chris Johnson goes to the Chargers, he didn't pick it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like honestly,
It's not his fault. It's just a hatred for the Chargers.
exactly.
And
it's just what do you do as a
that you can't.
San Diegan?
I can't let go of
Yeah.
that. I'll give you a decent example. I'd actually, this is not a good comp, but when Kawhi was in San Antonio,
Yeah.
it was like I loved watching Kawhi play. Then I loved watching him play when he was in Toronto.
Right.
And then he went to Clippers.
And it was like,
Yeah, I'm not
Wait, why'd
rooting for
you-
the Clippers.
well, here's the thing. I could still root for the person individually. I just don't care for what the team does. Right?
Kawhi lost me when he held the Lakers hostage in free agency.
To wait for Paul George to
That's
come.
when Kawhi lost me. I'm sorry. I was be 100% honest.
Here's the thing.
They still gave them a pick
Here's
last
what
week.
here's what I respect, which is amazing.
Unbelievable.
What I respect most about Kawhi is like he is authentically like going to do it his way.
Yeah,
Like, you know
that's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's fair.
1,000%.
He has no concern about what you and I think.
By
right?
the way,
Zero.
I
Yeah.
wasn't hating on. I think some of these guys. Actually, I respect it. It's like if Kawhi said to himself, "I want to go to a franchise that's never won a championship, and I want to go to a franchise that is maybe not going to get the attention." And this, I don't got an issue with that.
And-
like there's players around all the sports where you could look at and you could say, all right, this guy chose a different path, maybe not the most popular path. That's all right if that's, and doesn't that fit his personality more
Like
than
it is funny when we get to now. It's kind of a bad example because Kawhi Leonard's won 2 rings, but Mike Trout, like a lot of topic when they were played the Yankees last weekend. They're just going bombs away back and forth, and it's kind of like it would have been fun to see Mike Trout
I
on a
agree.
contender.
I agree with that.
It would have been fun to see Kawhi with Shea
Yeah,
the last 6 years.
right.
You know,
That's a good point.
Honestly, think about that. Somewhere along that way, it's different. It's way different than what's happened in Oklahoma, obviously. But that would have been really intriguing to watch play out, I think.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm at Angel Stadium on Friday night.
You paid to go to that game?
I did pay.
He paid
And I
good.
did not, and I wasn't able to get my money back, or I wasn't able to negotiate
And
anything.
Padres lost, got my money back.
Yeah, I'm down to negotiate anything. 50% of the price.
Right.
But Mike Trout comes to the plate, and I swear, and I hate to say this, there was a moment there where I was like, "Oh yeah, Mike Trout."
He's on the team.
Yeah, it's real.
But
Yeah.
I know that he was killing it in New York, right? And he hit 5 home runs.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had some recollection of it, but there
But you
was a
forget about
moment
it.
where
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, Mike
Crazy.
Trout.
Mike Trout might be more famous for going to Eagles games as a fan, sitting there.
And he's got an immovable contract, by the way. Because sometimes, like, it'd be cool to see him elsewhere. Maybe he
Right.
would reconsider, but the contract's immovable.
Are you- like, who
It's
can take that- who can
$400
take that
million
on?
dollars. Yeah.
All right, you guys got Chris Johnson, 4:00 today.
Kevin AC, 3:30.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin AC, less cool of a guest.
Wow.
Than Chris Johnson.
Wow.
But no, it's not a shot to Kevin AC. Just saying.
Kind of is.
If you got to tune in for one,
How about this?
Okay.
Sammy, let me help you out here. Just tune in for
show.
both.
Yeah.
Tune in for the whole
That was
show.
a test. I was testing everyone. You should have been listening the entire time.
Thank you.
Schaefer, Sliwa coming up next. I'll be back tomorrow at 12. See everybody. Keep listening.